And we welcome those of you who just saw the Red Sox complete their sweep of the Angels in New York. Derek Jeter, wild throw past Giambi. And as Drubal Cabrera in safely at first on a slow roller to short. A lot of contact. And Cabrera may have bumped knees with Giambi. That's ruled an infield hit.
Now Cabrera kind of landed awkwardly out there. Never did touch first base on his way past. Came back to the bag after the throw went over toward the Yankees dugout. Manager Eric Wedge, and the Indians trainer on the way out to have a look at Cabrera. Derek Jeter, as he does so many times, throwing on the move. Unusual to see him pull Giambi off the bag the way he did on that play. It'll be ruled an infield hit.
I think he had plenty of time to set his feet and make a good throw. So a generous score there for Derek Jeter. And Cabrera in safely at first with the game's first base hit tonight. Again, the storyline for those, you in Boston, you in LA. George Steinbrenner said before the game, if the Yankees don't win this series, Joe Torre will probably not be back as manager next season for New York. The Yankees' backs are against the wall. They are 0-2 in this series, but they have been in this spot before, 0-2 in the first round. Remember, a few years back, they trailed Oakland 2-0 at home, went west, and ended up winning that series. So that's what the Yankees are hoping can start tonight against Cleveland. Roger Clemens, starting for the first time since September 16th, faces his third hitter here in the opening inning.
Already early in the game, I think Roger's already established that split finger is going to be the out pitch for him tonight. He's gotten ahead. He got ahead of Sizemore. Got a ground out on the split. The ground ball Cabrera just hit was a split finger away. So these young Indian hitters are going to be paying attention.
A high fastball to Travis Hafner, who drove in the game-winning run in the 11th inning in Game 2 in Cleveland. So far in the series, Hafner's had a good run. He's driven home 2 men. He's hit a home run. Bit of a down year for him, coming off a wrist injury last year. As Clemens behind him, ball 2 balls, no strikes.
You know, when you look at this Indian lineup, they've done a good job offensively. Guys using the whole field, getting base hits with guys in scoring position. The Indians have been pretty impressive thus far in 2 games.
Well, they know they've got a couple of games with which to play. What they don't know is how they're going to react to playing at Yankee Stadium. We talked with Eric Wedge about that. Every game, he said, is a new challenge. Every game is a new opportunity for these kids to grow up at the major league level. So far, they have matured very, very quickly. As Clemens now down 3 balls, no strikes to designated hitter Travis Hafner.
Well, over the last 6 years, the Indians have definitely had their problems here at the stadium. A 3-17 record. Of course, 6 years ago, it was a completely different Cleveland Indians ball club. Some of these young kids are immune to all that pressure. They're just playing baseball.
That's what Kenny Lofton said would be the key for them. So far, it's worked perfectly. 3-1 the count. Hafner taking all the way. Have to respect the Hafner power. Also have to be aware that the right field porch only 314 feet down that right field line. This is a place where left-hand hitters, Tony, can turn and burn and hit a pop fly that'll go out.
Yeah, and if you're a left-hand hitter, you're always going to be aggressive on stuff on the inner half of the plate. But it's also a ballpark that's got a lot of room up the alleys.
Took something off. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
And it should be pointed out, not only the left-handed pull hitters can reach those seats in right, but Derek Jeter has made a living out of 320-foot fly balls that land in the bleachers out there in right field.
Much to your disgust as a National League manager.
I do remember that.
Yankee crowd on its feet. Runner goes. Ground ball foul. Here's how the game ended in the 11th inning in Cleveland. All those opportunities. That was a 3-2 pitch, and that was the game ender. Kenny Lofton, who has been the offensive hero for the Indians so far in this series, gave Cleveland the 2-0 lead, and yeah, what a game. Ball 4 high. 2 on, 1 out for Victor Martinez, the catcher.
Number 41.
So again, Tony, rest or rust or both?
I'm sure you're going to get a little bit of both. He hadn't been out there. He's only been out there once in the last 34 days it was, and I'm sure the adrenaline's flowing pretty good. It's playoff baseball. Your back's against the wall. You're down 0-2. And I think the Indian hitters already have showed us something already because, Cabrera gets on the air. Hafner takes the walk. They're being patient. They're being selective. And they're making Roger Clemens work. And if you're the Indians, that's what you have to do. You got to make him throw a lot of pitches.
And Joe told us before the ball game he wasn't on any kind of a pitch count. He'd be in there as long as he's effective, and he didn't anticipate any problems if the pitch count did get up.
And everything is up for Clemens in the early inning. 1 ball, no strikes. A ground ball to second, an infield chopper that was ruled a hit. Should have been an error, but wasn't. And now Hafner, the walk, puts 2 on, 1 out for Clemens here in the first. Victor Martinez hit into 19 double plays in the regular season. That led the Cleveland team. Ball 2. 2-0 your count.
Well, you may have noticed on that last graphic Roger Clemens' numbers when his team is facing elimination. The one victory came back in 1986, 21 years ago, against the Angels in the American League Championship Series.
Two on, 1 out.
He had good patience by the Indian hitters there. 2-0. You might be looking for that fastball. Roger Clemens, a little split finger for his 2-0 pitch. And the Indian hitters so far showing a lot of patience, being very selective, waiting for something that they can handle.
17th pitch of the inning for Clemens. Fisted back our way. It's 2-2.
Well, Clemens was very honest in his own assessment of what he brings to the table at this stage of his career. He is 45 years old. He was quoted as saying, "What I lack in stuff, I'll throw my heart out there. My will have to take over." There's no question that this guy has been a real trooper out there on the mound for every team he's ever pitched for, and maybe never more so than tonight.
Pitching with a bad hamstring. Took 2 cortisone shots in his right elbow. Trying to will his way through this first inning. But he's gone full to Martinez. 3-2. Ryan Garco, the slugging first baseman, would hit next. Will Eric Wedge put the runners in motion here with 1 out and Martinez up? He won't. And the pitch fly to left. That's playable for Damon. He's got it. Martinez sawed off. 2 outs as we join our 4th colleague, Craig Sager, tonight. Craig?
Well, Chip, as you know, they say this is the house that Ruth built, and they say the public address announcer Bob Shepard came with it. Unfortunately, Bob Shepard, the voice of the Yankees since 1951, 57 consecutive seasons, not here tonight, suffering from a bronchial infection. He is at home resting. We wish him the best. And by that way, that first game he ever broadcast, they had a lineup of Phil Rizzuto, Joe DiMaggio, a rookie by the name of Mickey Mantle, taking on the New York Giants. We had another pretty good rookie by the name of Willie Mays. But we wish Bob the best.
Indeed we do. Jim Hall filling in for Bob Shepard tonight. And Tony, you had to get chills when you heard your name announced by Bob Shepard at this ballpark.
It's one of the things you look forward to coming to Yankee Stadium. That was my first time, and hearing your name called by Bob Shepard, big thrill.
10 of the Indians' 14 runs in this series have scored with 2 outs. Ryan Garco now with 2 on and 2 out in the first inning. Good stop by Posada. They used to say of Bob Shepard, that his pronunciations were so precise you could hear both G's in Boggs when he stepped into the batter's box. So, Mr. Shepard, everybody here at the ballpark and the Bronx misses you and can't wait to see you soon.
Talk about pitching, defense, and timely hitting. The Indians have made the most of those timely hits with 2 outs in this series.
Hot shot, base hit up the middle into center field. Here comes Cabrera. He's going to score. The Indians strike again with 2 outs and lead by a run.
Here it is again. Ryan Garco this time.
The shortstop, number 2.
Just taking this ball right back where it came from. Fastball in, fighting it off, going right back up the middle. Another 2-out RBI. And that's why the Indians are winning this series. They've been able to deliver when they've had opportunities, and most of them have been with 2 outs. This time, Ryan Garco base hit up the middle and gets them off to an early lead.
And that quiets the crowd for the moment. And again, the haste of Derek Jeter to make that throw to first with Cabrera running is the result, and a 1-run lead for Johnny Peralta, the shortstop. He takes a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 23 Clemens pitches in the first.
Boy, so important for the Indians, I feel, to score that early run, calm this crowd down a little bit. They were just waiting to erupt for the Rocket to have a quick first inning. That has not been the case. We saw it happen at Wrigley Field last night when Chris Young from the Diamondbacks homered on the first pitch of the game and essentially took that Wrigley Field crowd out of the game early. Same thing has happened here in the top half of the first.
A run, 2 hits, 11 2-out runs for the Indians in the series, and they have the early lead. Looking for more now with Johnny Peralta. 2 for 8 is he in the series.
Again, even though runners are in scoring position, Roger not giving in. Looking on that split finger ahead in the count. He's throwing it behind in the count. And Peralta chased one on the first strike. That time laid off of it.
2-2. Tapper to short. Jeter steps on the bag and the inning is over. 27 pitches for Roger Clemens. He surrenders 1 in the top of the first. Cleveland scores first in the first. Here come the Yankees. For their skipper Joe Torre, Johnny Damon leads off, followed by Derek Jeter, Bobby Abreu, A-Rod, hitless in the series. Jorge Posada behind the plate. Jason Giambi makes his first appearance as a starter. Hideki Matsui, the DH. Robinson Cano at second. Melky Cabrera is in center field. Pitching for the Indians, right-hander Jake Westbrook, a tale of 2 seasons for him. Disabled May 7th with a right abdominal strain. Second half of the year pitched much better baseball, including a 4-1, 1.90 ERA in the month of August. But this is the kind of guy, Tony, you mentioned before the game, the Yankees like to see.
Yeah, not an overpowering guy. That sinker right there is going to be one of his best pitches. This Yankee lineup has a batting average of .342 against Westbrook with 6 home runs. And so, you know, guys in the lineup like Cano and Giambi who have good numbers against him because they faced him, they've seen him plenty. And to me, the big difference is the difference in velocity between a Sabathia and a Carmona. You know, those guys are 94, 95, 96 mile per hour guys. Westbrook's going to be in the low 90s.
Slap toward the hole. Good start for the Yankees. That's one of the few times in this series any Yankee guys has tried to hit the ball the other way.
I think that's what they realize. You know, you don't have as much velocity, so to stay back and hit a ball running away like that, that's the best you can do. Look how deep that ball is in Johnny Damon's stance. That allows his barrel to stay in the zone. That gives him more margin for error. And I think the whole Yankee offensive lineup is going to be thinking that, because velocity has changed. I mean, that's the thing that changes it for the hitter. When you got a guy who's not overpowering, you're going to be willing to wait a little bit longer, like Damon did.
So runner at first, Westbrook to the stretch very early in the game for Derek Jeter. Jeter 1 for 8. And playing in his 49th postseason game tonight. That's #1 all time.
And you know he's looking for a redeemer right here. Even though it wasn't ruled an error, that infield hit was a play I'm sure Derek Jeter will tell you he should have made.
He lays down a bunt, and it is just foul.
That's an outstanding effort by Derek Jeter. I thought maybe he would take a shot at hitting the hole between first and second. Instead, he drops a bunt. And it looked like it was just going to hang on and stay fair, but right at the last moment.
You know, Tony, you know this. Different fields are cut differently around the foul line. And here at Yankee Stadium, the grass is very close to the foul line. I think at some other ballparks, that ball would have stayed fair. But here at Yankee Stadium, it just trickled into foul territory.
So the Yankees taking a page out of the Indians' Game 2 game plan. The Tribe bunted 4 times in a sacrifice situation. That was a bunt for a hit attempt by Jeter. Swinging this time, chops it up the middle. At the second base bag. What a play by Peralta to start a 6-3 twin killing. 2 outs. Johnny on the spot indeed.
Well, for a guy that gets criticized a lot for his range, this slow hit ball up the middle leads Peralta right to the bag. He fields the ball with his foot on the base. Easy throw to first to complete the double play.
Yeah, nice bit of footwork. You see his foot come right down on the bag. That had the makings of possibly a nice inning working for the Yankees. Ends up right there in the double play.
A live Spanish feed is now available for our ball game via the SAP button on your remote. Base is clear now for Bobby Abreu. Abreu 2 out of 6 in the first 2 games. The Yankees have had chances to score runs. They are 1 for 20 offensively with men on base so far.
Kind of an interesting proposition tonight. We asked Eric Wedge what Westbrook had to do to be effective, and he told us he had to stay ahead and he had to stay down. Now, we know the Yankees are a very patient hitting ball club, but when you have a pitcher on the mound who's not overpowering and he's trying to get ahead in the count, that's when you figure the Yankees may come out of their game plan a little bit, be a little more aggressive early in the sequence. Yep. Westbrook throws 80% fastballs on first pitch throughout the regular season.
And as we saw on that Jeter ground ball, gets a lot of double play balls, more double plays than anybody else in baseball the last 4 years with that sinking action. But now Abreu, who works the count perhaps as well as anybody in this lineup, has a 3-1 pitch at which to look.
Abreu's shown a lot of patience in this series already. A couple of walks.
Hard hit ball. Garco to his right, flips to the pitcher at the bag. A 3-1 pitch is hammered, but it's out, and the Indians lead by 1 after 1. Game 3 of our Indians-Yankees matchup presented by Budweiser at Yankee Stadium. Home plate umpire Ron Culpa takes us through the ground rules.
Thanks, sir.
You got it. Nothing real crazy here, all right? Just like all year long. Only thing down here over the line here, there's a net right above that 318.
Yeah.
They can hit that net and come back.
No home run.
It's a home run.
It is a home run.
It is a home run.
Yeah.
The yellow out here above Modell's.
Yes.
You see this yellow steps that's painted? That's beyond. That's a home run. All right. Same thing over here. There's a net down. There's a net down on this side.
So our thanks to Ron Culpa, wearing our microphone behind the plate tonight. And Kenny Lofton starts things off in the Cleveland second. He bunts down the line foul. And this guy has been absolutely everything Cleveland could have hoped he would be offensively in the series so far. 5 hits, 7 at bats, and 4 2-out runs driven in.
Yeah, he's got the big hits. See those 4 RBIs. He's just been a thorn in the Yankee side so far in this series. Again, trying to get this Indians offense going here in the second.
Off the plate, ball 2, 2 balls and a strike.
I was thinking back to talking to Eric Wedge before the ball game. We saw Kenny Lofton show bunt once and try to bunt once and ask him, do you think you might do that against the Rockets tonight? He said, we have an approach in this ball game and we'll adjust if we have to. That's all he could say. Of course, he doesn't want to give away what they may try to do against the Rockets tonight, but I really think the Indians need to see if he can field his position.
Joe Torre before the game said that Clemens, who pitched in a simulated game down in Tampa earlier in the week, passed through all of those tests with flying colors, fielded bunts, covered first base. We'll see if he's up to game readiness tonight. Pop deep short. Jeter out. 1 man down. Here's a look at the rest of the Yankees defensive lineup tonight with Johnny Damon, Melky Cabrera, Bobby Abreu from left to right. Around the horn, Giambi gets the start at first for the Yankees. Robinson Cano, Derek Jeter up the middle. Alex Rodriguez is the man at third. And Jorge Posada behind the plate. And Trot Nixon, the longtime Boston Red Sox, gets a crack at Clemens. He is one of the most experienced hitters against him in their lineup. He's faced him 35 times, and Nixon's hit 3 home runs.
He's the one guy in this Indians lineup who's seen him a whole lot. And so Eric Wedge wanted to get him in the lineup tonight.
Swing and a drive rocketed to right. Abreu will turn, and it's out of here. 4 home runs for Nixon against Roger Clemens, and that one a solo shot to make it a 2-0 Cleveland lead.
And that ball got out of here in a hurry.
Well, we talked about that short porch in right field for the Yankee left-handed hitters. It works the same way for the visiting team. Trot Nixon with a line drive. Looked like it had a lot of top spin. Abreu stopped and was ready to play the carom off the wall. There was none.
Oh, that top spin shot that thing right off the top of the wall over the fence.
So the crowd sits stunned here in the second.
Boy, does that make a manager feel good. You know, you play a hunch, you throw a guy in there that's had good career numbers against the pitcher. He's played well in this ballpark, and he comes through in his first at bat.
And again, the Yankees, who led the world in home runs with 201 of them this year, have watched the Indians hit 5 home runs in this series. The Yankees have just 4 runs on 3 solo homers. And a pop fly foul off the bat of Casey Blake. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Like Bob said, I think it's huge that you're the Indians, you get on the board first, and then you get an inning where you shut them down, and then you add to the lead with another run.
One ball, 2 strikes, bases clear, 1 out. Off his thumbs toward Cano at second. And 2 are out. Here's Grady Sizemore. He rolled out to second his first time. The Yankees will have the middle of their order coming up in the second inning. That will start with Alex Rodriguez. We'll be very interested at what reception he gets in our second inning. Down the left field line, foul for a strike. It's 0-1.
Looks like Roger Clemens mixing in a few more breaking balls now. And that first inning was pretty much fastball, split finger. We got Blake out with a late breaking ball, and now starting Grady Sizemore off with one.
A rocket into right field from Sizemore. Four Cleveland hits already.
Again, Indian hitters taking pretty good hacks. All stayed in the middle of the plate. Very nice swing, nice position. Hooks this ball into right field for a base hit. The Indians, again, have done a nice job offensively. They've showed patience. They've hit the ball where it's been pitched. They've done a great job with runners in scoring position.
And I would expect Sizemore to be on the move over there with 2 outs in the inning, try to get himself into scoring position. Roger does not like to throw to first base. It's just a fact. He will when the sign comes from the bench from Joe Torre, but if he had his choice, he would deliver every pitch to home plate and let Jorge Posada worry about the base runners.
We'll see what kind of lead Sizemore measures off here. Our leadoff line technology brought to you by Travelers Insurance. Pretty good lead over there. A very gentle throw from Roger Clemens.
Let's see if Grady Sizemore's front foot gets to that green on the 9-foot line.
16 postseason stolen bases during the regular season. Opponents were successful 15 out of 19 against the Rocket.
So that's the risk and reward. If you get on, you can run against Roger Clemens and maybe run him right out of this game. I have a question for Joe Torre. How long do you ride Roger Clemens? Every run comes at a premium the way the Yankees are scoring in this series.
Well, we haven't quite got through the second inning yet, and already Cleveland's got 2 runs on the board and 4 hits. And this is a do or die situation for the Yankees, so you figure they're not going to wait very long.
Runner is going. The pitch, a strike. The throw to second. Swipe tag missed. Sizemore in under the tag by Jeter. So add another to that stolen base total against Roger Clemens in his postseason career, and a hit means another Cleveland run.
Boy, and Jorge Posada did everything he could do to try to throw Sizemore out at second base. He got rid of that ball quickly, made a good, strong, accurate throw. Derek Jeter just missed with the swipe tag. I think he would have been called safe even if he was able to tag Sizemore on top of the helmet.
Jeter trying to sell the tag.
That slap foul out of play to the left. And as Dribble Cabrera, 1-2 count now. Cabrera reached on an infield hit. A chopper toward the hole that Derek Jeter charged through off balance and on the run threw wide and wildly to first. Cabrera was given an infield hit, but he was still a good 8-9 feet off the bag when the ball touched Giambi's glove. Two balls, 2 strikes.
And that has to be a little disconcerting to Roger and Jorge Posada. You throw that good splitter down there around the knees, a pitch with a 2-strike count. Most hitters are going to offer at it. Cabrera just spit on it. He had nothing to do with that pitch.
Another excellent night by the Indians at making the Yankees staff work. High fly center field. Back goes Cabrera. He's under it. Inning over. 2-0 Cleveland after 1.5.
Number 13, Alex Rodriguez, third base. Number 13.
I'd say polite applause, guys.
Yeah, very little reaction one way or the other. I think it all hinges on this at bat, which direction the crowd's going to go here at Yankee Stadium.
And he'll face Jake Westbrook with a 2-run lead. And A-Rod pops it out of play foul. Alex Rodriguez Hitless in the series. 0 for 6. 0 for his last 18. No runs batted in his last 50 at-bats, but he's got lots of company in this Yankee lineup right now. 1 ball, 1 strike. He, though, admitted, guys, look, I'm pressing. He was very honest. That's exactly what he said.
Well, and Tony, you alluded to it earlier. This would be a guy that A-Rod should feel pretty comfortable against. He's 9 for 24 lifetime with a home run against Jake Westbrook.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see him try to take a ball to right center field. Just to kind of slow himself down, kind of get his bearings back together.
And some fans might say he's got to hit a home run to break out of this. I would say the exact opposite's true. Just have a quality at bat.
Yeah.
And he's got 1. 3 balls and a strike. Now Westbrook has to come to him. Rodriguez hit 6 home runs this year against Indian pitching.
That's the other thing about these kind of situations. You can have a good at bat by even not swinging the at bat.
They green light him 3-1. Why not? Full count now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here are A-Rod's struggles. And some of those numbers, guys, you really have to chalk up to just great pitching by the Indians. I mean, Carmona in game 2, I don't think the 27 Yankees would have hit him that night.
I don't think so either.
Hot shot. He's on the board. Lofton cuts it off. A-Rod thinking about a double. Dives back into first. And here come the Yankees.
Like we talked about, I mean, sometimes you don't even have to swing the bat to have a good at bat. He looked calm. He looked poised. He was waiting for something in the zone. That's the inside sinker, and he's right on it and lines it right back up the middle. Perfect.
And what you really like to see is the way A-Rod got down that first baseline, took a real aggressive turn at first. He knew Kenny Lofton was going to be moving laterally as he got to that ball, and he was going to force Kenny to come up with it cleanly and get a good throw off before he stopped.
Now the thumpers are coming up. Here's Jorge Posada. And this is that Yankee approach that was on display at inning 1 of game 1. Make the Indian starters throw strikes. CC Sabathia walked 6 in game 1. Westbrook falls behind here.
Man, that's not to say that they didn't have the same approach against Sabathia and Carmona.
Double play ball. Big hop to Peralta. Cabrera turns it. Second double play. Westbrook getting that sinker, and it's biting and biting hard. 2 out.
You talked about over the last, well, since 04, 109 double plays, 20 during the regular season this year, 2 already here tonight. It may not be the turbo sinker that Fausto Carmona featured, but he has that good downward movement not only on his sinker but on his slider and his changeup.
And you know Westbrook's got some payback due these Yankees. They wore him out in a start earlier this year, and Westbrook was also a former Yankee. Made his big league debut in pinstripes. So now he faces Jason Giambi. Bases clear and 2 out. Hard hit ball. The shift was on. Cabrera in short right. Another ground ball out, and the Yankees trail by 2 after 2 at home. This American League Division Series on TBS, presented by Budweiser, official beer of Major League Baseball. Bob Brenly, Tony Gwynn, Craig Sager, Chip Carey at Yankee Stadium. Roger Clemens down 2 after 2. And guys, not surprisingly, with New York down 2-0, there is activity beginning in the Yankees bullpen. Travis Hafner is up for the Tribe. He walked back in inning number 1.
If you're the Yankees, you're hoping Roger can settle down here and get his game together here and give you a few innings.
Now facing elimination, it's all hands on deck. I mean, Phil Hughes began throwing as the Yankees went out to take their positions defensively, just in the event the Rocket runs into some more trouble here in the third.
Here comes Joe Torre.
He wants to make sure Clemens is all right. Again, with that hamstring, the elbow, it also will buy some more time for Hughes if need be.
No, he's not going to go quietly into the night. He is going to argue to stay in this ball game. Almost knocked his own hat off his head there on his windup as he came up with the glove, caught the bill of his cap a little bit. That has to be almost as distracting as bugs flying around your face.
Yes, but we are in a pest-free zone, we understand.
Yeah, just a grimace out there on the mound. Just didn't look right. And a lot of times it's not a specific thing. Joe Torre and Ron Guidry, they know what Rocket looks like when he's in a good rhythm out there on the mound. And if you see anything different from his body language, his facial expression, the way he follows through, the time he takes between pitches, that's a red flag for a pitching coach.
Base is clear for Hafner. Now a 2-2 count. Clemens has not been able to get into any kind of groove yet. Give the Indians credit with their game plan. They've worked a lot of deep counts early in this game. The Trot Nixon homer in the second. The Ryan Garco single up the middle in the first. And another full count. You guys were talking between innings about the split finger pitch, which is one of Clemens' out pitches. They are not offering at all, are these Indian hitters, at that pitch?
They are not. And they are 2-2. Doing a pretty good splitter, and Hafner didn't even flinch. Just kind of acted like he saw it before he let it go.
A leadoff walk. Tried to overpower a fastball and missed badly with it. 2 walks for Clemens. Hafner's been passed twice. And the natives are restless in New York.
The catcher, Victor Martinez.
Here's Victor Martinez. He flied to left. And he's 0 for 1 tonight. Red Sox beat the Angels and completed a 3-game sweep in Anaheim. 9-1 was that final, so we have 3 of the 4 components for the LCS in the National and American Leagues. Indians trying to become the first, a portion of the first group of 4 to all complete 3-game sweeps in the first round. That's never happened before. The Yankees hoping to force a game 4 here tomorrow night. All this time allowing Hughes as many tosses as he needs in the bullpen for New York. Two.
A little backdoor breaking ball. It's like all eyes are they're keeping a close eye on Rogers.
One ball, 2 strikes. What else can Roger Clemens throw with 2 strikes to get a strikeout?
Well, in the past, he could go to that high 4-seam fastball, get some swinging strikes on that pitch up above the letters, but he doesn't have the same giddy up on that heater that he has had in the past.
And the other thing is on that split finger, usually that's a pitch he starts in the strike zone and it falls out. Today he's had a whole lot of trouble just even starting that pitch in the strike zone. He's bounced it quite a bit today already.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
So it doesn't look like he has a feel yet for that splitter. And the other thing is the Indian hitters are letting him know they're picking it up pretty quickly because they're not even offering at it. And I think that's one of the reasons why if you're Joe Torre or Ron Guidry, you're a little concerned right now because you don't want to let this game get out of hand.
Another 3-2 count. And pitch number 59. Joe Torre might tell Posada to go out and talk to Clemens. Buy a little more time here. Don't forget, coming up on Thursday night, we will have Game 1 of the National League Championship Series exclusively here on TBS. The Colorado Rockies will visit Brandon Webb and the Arizona Diamondbacks at Chase Field in Phoenix. Can't wait for that series to start. 2 very exciting young National League clubs that play in very offensive-minded ballparks.
I think that's going to be a very interesting series.
Does Clemens have to get Martinez to stay in the game? 1 on, none out. 3-2 pitch. He got it.
Well, that's a pitch, Tony, as a hitter. You wonder how you missed that. A 92-mile-an-hour fastball right down the chute.
Looked like he reached back and found a little velocity here and threw this ball right by Martinez.
And for the second time, guys, in this inning, Joe Torre and the Yankees training staff out to make sure Clemens is 100%. And with every passing pitch he makes, look, let's be honest, you don't know if this is the last time Roger Clemens is going to pitch in a major league game. And he has thrown his last pitch in this game. If it was the last pitch Roger Clemens threw, how appropriate, guys, that it was a strikeout.
I think that may have entered into Joe Torre's thinking as well. It's obvious right from the very start of this ball game, the Rocket is not comfortable out there on the mound. Taking a lot of time between pitches. The Indians haven't been chasing his signature pitch. He's just out of sync out there on the mound right now. And I don't care how many simulated games you throw, how much you work out down in Tampa, it's not the same as pitching, especially in the postseason.
So then it was Roger Clemens pitching. Now it's Philip Hughes pitching. And our then and now presented by AIG. Live longer, retire stronger, never outlive your money with AIG. Let's take a look at Bobby Richardson. Bobby Richardson holds the distinction of being the only player from the losing team to win the World Series MVP. In 1960, the Yankees were beaten by the Pittsburgh Pirates, but Richardson was incredible, batting .367 with 12 runs batted in. The 8-time All-Star won 3 world titles with the Yankees, and a former University of South Carolina baseball coach, Richardson still lives in Sumter, South Carolina. Back upstairs, it's 2-0. The Indians in front. Bob Brenly, Tony Gwynn, Chip Caray. We didn't know what Roger Clemens would have tonight. We didn't know how long Roger Clemens would last tonight. The answer was his stuff was short, so was the length of his appearance.
Well, and once again, you have to give some of the credit to the Indians offense. Some very patient at bats early in the ball game. When he made mistakes up over the heart of the plate, they hit him hard, but it was pretty apparent that that's not the Roger Clemens that we've all grown to know, and the Roger Clemens that's going to end up in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the Indian hitters were very patient. They got pitches to hit, and when they did, you know, they put it in play, they put some runs on the board. And so, you know, I don't think, especially watching the way Roger Clemens walked off the mound, it looked like that hamstring was still bothering him a little bit. And you know what? The Indians did what they had to do. They put some runs on the board. They put some pressure on him early, and they've gotten off to an early lead.
And so now they bring in the Yankees Philip Hughes, that looks so very impressive up in Cleveland. The young fireballer, one of 9 Yankees to pick up his first win here in 2007. He'll try to be the main hero pitching-wise for New York. Take this game as deep as he can and see if the Yankees bats can come back from a 2-0 deficit here early in the Bronx. There you see Hughes' numbers. 13 starts, 5-3 his mark. And the opposition hit just .235 against him in 2007. Hughes pitched the last 2 innings in game 1 and looked very, very good for the Yankees. He did give up a home run to Ryan Garco, but by then the game was well out of hand, a game the Indians won by a 12-3 score. So Joe Torre and Ron Guidry looking at a man who might be part of the young guard that is going to start filtering through this Yankee organization starting in 2008. If Roger Clemens doesn't come back, if Alex Rodriguez doesn't come back, if Jorge Posada is not back, Philip Hughes might be one of the youngsters they count on for big things next year and beyond. Again, let's check in with Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, Chip, as you well documented, this could be the last time we see Roger Clemens on the mound in a baseball park, Major League Park that is. And as you also said earlier, Joe Torre getting the ultimatum from the owner, George Steinbrenner, if he didn't win this game and win this series, that he also was gone. Joe said that, is it a distraction? Well, to me, it's uncomfortable at times. I have to make sure that it doesn't distract my players. Meanwhile, the players and the team had a meeting before batting practice. Mike Messina came out and spoke on behalf of the players. Messina said it's up to us to play the game the right way. He does a great job dealing with the media, the expectations, puts us in a position to win ball games. It is up to us. We know what it means if we don't win this game.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. And if it was the last goodbye, a love tap from Joe Torre. The Rocket pitched with all of that heart, Bob Brenly, you talked about at the start of the telecast. But the Indians touch him up for 2. He departs, and Phil Hughes on with Ryan Garco in the box. And now Tony, all the preparation that the Indians put in facing Roger Clemens, still a long way to go in this game. You now have a youngster with excellent stuff facing you now.
Yeah, and so now the game plan changes just a little bit. Now you add a little bit of velocity. You add a breaking ball now. And really, they've seen him already in this series.
A wild pitch that will send Hafner into second base. So that takes away a ground ball double play. And lots of wild pitches plagued the Yankees in game 2.
That looked like a fastball that hit out in front of home plate. Any catcher in Major League Baseball will tell you, you just don't anticipate the fastball in the dirt. Breaking balls, change-ups, splitters, absolutely, but you would assume that a Major League pitcher could get his fastball somewhere near the target most of the time. That time Hughes bounced it way out in front.
Garco's the guy that had faced Hughes in Cleveland and took him deep the other way.
Deep short. Derek Jeter sets his feet, makes a perfect throw. 2 men down. TBS is available in HD. That's high definition. Call your local cable or satellite provider. And I don't know if there's a more beautiful cathedral to see a game in high def than Yankee Stadium, the house that Ruth built in New York. Here's Johnny Peralta. Peralta bounced into a force play, ending the first inning for the Tribe. Big run at second in a 2-run game. 11 2-out runs scored by the Indians in this series.
You're almost surprised when they don't score a run with 2 outs. I mean, they've been really good at delivering in the clutch.
Broken bat, fly ball, right field line. Abreu can't get there. It's in the corner. Another 2-out hit. Another run scores. It's 3-0 Cleveland.
telling you, it's just uncanny, the Indians' ability to hit with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. See, Posada wanted that ball outside. He kind of got it in the middle of the plate, and he fights it off the other way. Drives in the run, puts pressure on Abreu to make a quality throw. And again, base hit with 2 outs.
So Roger Clemens, 2 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, a strikeout, and a home run. And now Hughes has to somehow neutralize Kenny Lofton, who has been very, very tough. 3-0, Cleveland in front. And there, in a nutshell, is your series.
That is so demoralizing for the opposing team. You're 1 out, sometimes 1 pitch away from getting out of an inning. Somebody comes up with one of those big clutch 2-out base hits, forces you to stay out there and play defense a little longer. In this case, another runner in scoring position.
2 balls and a strike.
I mean, Kenny Lofton started this whole parade of 2-out base hits back in game 1.
Yep.
All 3 of his hits came with 2 outs.
Cleveland is 9 for 19 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Lofton swung late, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Still early in this game. The Yankees have hit into 2 double plays. The way Cleveland's swinging the bat, they're in scoring position, sitting on the bench. Garco.
Well, 9 for 19 with their pitching's going to get it done.
Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes now.
He's 4 for 4 in this playoff series.
Lofton spoils another. It stays full. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Somewhat unfamiliar territory for Philip Hughes as well, even though he did pitch well in relief in game 1 of this series. All 13 of his appearances were as a starter during the regular season.
High fly ball to left. That should be easy. Indians add another run and chase Roger Clemens. 3-0 in the 3rd. The crowd at Yankee Stadium is stunned. Roger Clemens, a strained hamstring, has to leave the game. Yankees are down 3 runs with Hideki Matsui leading off against Jake Westbrook, the former Yankee. He's given up 2 hits, but 2 double play balls behind him have kept the Yankees at bay to this point. And that's outside ball 2. Tony, Bob Brenly, Chip Carey. Yankees can strike back very, very quickly. They got to get going, though. They're down 3.
Yeah, no question. I mean, they just haven't been able to put anything together. A bunch of hits and some opportunities together. They've been spaced out, and you got to tip your hat to Cleveland's pitching staff. They've done a great job keeping them off balance.
Don't think for one moment that pitching coach Carl Willis or manager Eric Wedge are taking anything for granted at this point. This Yankee offense has shown all year long they're capable of exploding and putting a lot of runs on the board in a hurry.
Out of play foul. That in on the hands of Matsui. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He, along with so many other of his teammates, hitless in the series. Again, the Yankees led the world in batting average, runs scored, and home runs this year.
At 290 team batting average, the best since 1936.
They had some pretty good players on that team.
Yeah.
Bill Dickey, Joe DiMaggio was on that club. Lou Gehrig was on that club.
968 runs scored by this Yankee offense this year. That's the most since 1937. So they have eclipsed a lot of the great Yankee teams of the past with their offensive performance this year. We haven't seen it so far in the postseason.
Bouncing ball. Matsui with a bad hamstring. Throw to first. Not in time. He beat it out. And if you wonder if that hamstring's 100%, all you need to know is how far Matsui ran down the line after he was called safe. He could not put on the brakes, but he's in with a leadoff hit.
Rivera really made a nice play. You see Matsui realizing he got to get his team going.
Oh yeah, Matsui hit that bag at first hard with his right leg. He had his right knee drained last Sunday. And it looked like it was giving him some problems in game 1 and game 2. That's his front leg, his land leg, Tony. You know how important that is.
Yep. And when you get your knee drained, the hardest thing to do is to stop. It's not to pick up speed, it's to slow down.
And I said hamstring, I beg your pardon. It was the knee of Matsui, but he is aboard here in front of Robinson Cano, who asked for time, didn't get it. The pitch outside, there's a break for New York. 1 ball, no strikes.
The Yankees have started 3 straight innings now with the leadoff man getting on base. We've hit into 2 double plays already. We're only in the 3rd inning.
Ball 2.
Oh. Tells you all you need to know.
There's a strike. It's 2-1. You just get the sense that this Yankee offense is like a 2-liter bottle of soda that just is continually being shaken up. Sooner or later that cap's going to go.
That's what you would think, you know, but I mean, again, you got to tip your cap to Cleveland staff. They've been able to keep them off balance. They haven't given in on those fastball situations. You know, Westbrook tonight's been able to get 2 ground balls, 2 double play balls to keep him out of trouble. And even though that leadoff man has gotten on base 3 straight innings, he's been able to make a pitch to help him get out of trouble.
Well, he's behind in the count. 2 balls and a strike. Now it's 3-1.
That's what the Yankees do. They make you work. They make you throw a pitch in the zone. And even though they're down 3-0, Cano showing a lot of patience here, not chasing that ball that's on the outer third.
Cano homered in the 4th inning in game 1. He can sit on a pitch here. 3 balls and a strike.
Westbrook there showing he's not going to give in, staying on that outer third.
That's not usually the kind of swing a hitting coach likes to see on a 3-1 count. Yeah, a defensive foul it off swing on a sinker down low and away.
And see, the thought of the sinker is, you know, got to be on these hitters' minds. They don't want to swing at a ball that's going to end up on the ground, possibly double play situation.
Runner goes, ground ball right side. They stay out of the double play as Garco feeds his pitcher. Runner at second, 1 out. Again, the Yankees still without consecutive hits in the series. And the Westbrook sinker continues to get beaten into the ground.
That's a great pitch by Westbrook right there. 3-2. It'd be easy to give in and throw the fastball. Instead, he comes back with a sinker, gets a ground ball, gets an out. The runner moves up. You know, take a look at this last pitch right here. 3-1. Be easy to just throw him a tailor-made fastball. Instead, he throws him a sinker in the middle of the plate, gets a ground ball, gets an out. Even though the runner moves up, he still gets an out. And that's a huge thing in this inning because you want to try to stay away from the big inning.
Melky Cabrera homered with 1 out in inning 3 of game 2. It's inning 3, game 3 with 1 out. And that homer, the only hit he has in the series. Then Johnny Damon waiting next. 3-0, Cleveland the lead. Jake Westbrook. Line foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. If we get to game 4, that'll be here tomorrow night. Paul Bird has already been announced as the Cleveland starter. The Yankees have not yet announced who would pitch here at the stadium. That was predicated on what Roger Clemens did. Swinging bunt. It's a fair ball. Throw to third and safe. So the tying run comes to the plate and the Yankees are in business. Matsui, a big time gamble, went in the back door.
A tactical error by Victor Martinez right here. Tony, you mentioned it just a moment ago. What you want to avoid is a big inning. Take the outs where you can get them. Nice slide into third by Matsui. Went way to the outfield side. Only gave the hand and the arm for Garco to tag. Stayed away from the tag. And now the Yankees have an opportunity with a couple of ducks on the pond. This may be the opportunity they've been looking for in this series.
Absolutely. Martinez could have taken the out at first.
And Cabrera, another guy that can run at first. Damon slapped a single through the left side. Now Westbrook behind Damon. 1 ball, no strikes. Carl Willis, the Cleveland pitching coach, for the first time I think in this series, comes to the mound. He has not had to chat much with his staff.
Boy, and if you're thinking about a potential inning-ending double play, that's going to be tough to do with Johnny Damon. He gets out of that left-handed batter's box in a hurry and has only grounded into 4 double plays all season. It would take a real hard hit ball right at somebody for the Indians defensively.
So Willis with a big smile on his face, reminding Westbrook that he's leading by 3, and you can show the world what a real fan looks like. Reenact an immortal postseason moment, and you could win a trip to the World Series. Just go to Actober.com for your chance to win. And Westbrook knows that Cabrera can run, wants to keep him close. He has lived with the double play ball tonight, 2 of them in the first 2 innings. A ball and a strike. The Yankees have 15 all-time postseason wins when trailing by 3 or more runs. This year they did it 9 times. That's why we said earlier, long way to go, especially with the Yankees possessing the bottom of the 9th inning. A flinch, but no call.
I think if Victor Martinez received that pitch a little better, he may have gotten the call. That was one of those borderline pitches where if the catcher can get around that ball and push it back toward the plate, you're more likely to get the strike call from the plate umpire. That time Martinez pushed it further out of the zone.
Again, guys, Joe Torre said we want our team to be patient without getting ourselves into trouble at the plate. That's exactly what they've done here in the 3rd. Another 3-1 count.
It's the first 1st time the whole series they've been able to bunch something together.
2 2
Ground ball, right side and through. A run is in. Cabrera around second, stops there. It's 3-1. Only the second hit with a man on in this series for the Yankees, and here they come.
Well, Westbrook made a pretty good pitch. It's a sinker that stays up. Johnny Damon bounces it in the hole between first and second. And that decision by Victor Martinez has gave the Yankees an opportunity here to get back into this ball game.
Hey, you never know what would have transpired had they taken the easy out at first base, but you know for sure that Garco at first base would have been playing deep. As it was, he was holding on the runner. Big hole in the right side, and Johnny Damon found it.
Jeter looking for the Redeemer. Listen to him chant. And the sinker in for a strike quiets the Bronx. 3-1 now. 2 on, 1 out. Abreu next.
Nice block there by Martinez. Now you got runners on base now. So those balls are in the dirt. Really got to do a good job to keep it in front. You see him keep that ball in front. Not allowing those runners to move up an extra 90 feet.
Melky Cabrera at second. Johnny Damon at first with a 1-1. Ground ball toward third. Blake to second for 1. On to first, another double play. The Yankees have hit into 3 double plays in the game's first 3 innings and now trail it 3-1. Back at Yankee Stadium through 3 from New York's perspective, fellas. 1 run is a start. They've had plenty of chances, but Westbrook with that turbo sinker 3 double play balls so far.
Yeah, it is a start, but knowing the way the Yankee offense has put together big innings this year, I think they felt they should have got a lot more out of that than just 1 run.
So now Philip Hughes has to keep what little momentum the Yankees have in this game in his dugout with Nixon, Blake, and Sizemore up in the 4th inning. Quick strike to Trot Nixon. Last time up, Nixon did indeed trot after a line drive homer to right that hit off the top of the wall and into the seats.
Definitely hit the ball hard enough to get it out of the ballpark. The only question was, did he get it up high enough? And just did get enough. Bounces it off the top of the fence up into the bleachers.
A Tony Gwynn-like home run.
Yeah,
it's a laser beam, right? Back to the screen.
He's had some, important bats in his career, and he got something that he could handle. And boy, he turned it around quickly. Just had enough to get it to tumble over the top of the wall and bounce out and give the Indians a 2-0 lead at the time.
So now he leads off the 4th here at the top of the 8 o'clock hour Eastern time. Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
I wonder how much of an effect a guy like Trot Nixon's had on this young Indians team. Team hadn't experienced postseason baseball that much, with his experience kind of leading these guys through this first series. They've been impressive. Done a really good job.
High fly ball foul. Bobby, you touched on it earlier. You said a manager's hunch. You've sat in that manager's chair in a playoff game, a World Series situation. When you play that hunch, is there any quivering in that right hand as you fill out that name, whatever name it is in that lineup card at that time?
Well, there may be some quivering from the media or from the fans, but as a manager, you know your players better than anybody else, and you know what situations they've had success in the past, and if that situation presents itself again, you don't hesitate at all to put the guy in there. I took a lot of criticism in Game 6 of the 01 World Series against Andy Pettit in Arizona because we started Jay Bell at second base. We started Greg Colburn at first base, guys who normally were bench players, but that's what we had done throughout the regular season. Against a tough lefty, we started our right-handed lineup, and they came through in a big way in Game 6.
And so did Pettit in Game 2 of this series. He did not get the win, did not factor in the decision, but he pitched a great game. And Hughes strikes out Nixon.
Looks like he just rears back and throws him a good high hard one running away from him. Like a four-seam fastball on the outer half of the plate.
You could see on the pitch tracks that ball didn't have the same kind of movement that we're used to seeing from Westbrook and from Carmona. And that one held its line all the way into the strike zone.
Yeah, those straight ones are starting to be easy to see because we haven't seen that many of them in this series.
Casey Blake, the batter. And he pops it up left side. Long run, Damon near the stands. No play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Three runs, 5 hits for Cleveland, 1 run, 4 hits for the Yankees. New York has to win to keep this series alive. If Cleveland wins, they will face the Boston Red Sox for the American League Championship. Popped up our way. One ball, 2 strikes now. Time called. If the Indians win this series, the Red Sox would have home field advantage in that 7-game series. Fly ball center field. That's easy for Melky Cabrera. Here's the way the AL Division Series brackets shape up. The Red Sox swept the Angels. Game 1 will be Friday on Fox. But still some work to be done here between Cleveland and New York. Again, the National League bracket already finalized. It'll be Colorado and Arizona. That starts next Thursday. Brady Sizemore down a strike, and Hughes looking pretty comfortable now. As you see, 2 sweeps over in the senior circuit. Rockies visit Arizona, and we will have the entire National League Championship Series here on TBS. I don't think anybody, guys, would have predicted 2 teams out of the West would be fighting for the National League pennant.
And that will be an interesting series only because those 2 teams are very familiar with each other. They played against each other 18 times this season. We talked about postseason baseball. There are no secrets. Well, especially in that series, there will be no secrets.
Well, that is so true. 18 times. That's a lot of games. Get to know your opponent pretty well.
The only game during that incredible run by the Rockies down the stretch that they lost was handed to them by Brandon Webb. 1-2 count. And one would figure Brandon Webb's getting the ball in Game 1 in the desert next week. But a good one still on tap here in New York. 2 balls, 2 strikes, a 2-run Cleveland lead. Two and 2 to Sizemore.
Sizemore just battles you. Hughes is throwing some pretty good petrol on the outside part of the plate, and he's been able to just foul it off.
Well, he will strike out a time or two. Sizemore struck out 155 times in the regular season. Hughes is looking for one of those here with 2 out. And Grady just did keep the at-bat alive.
Yeah, Hughes threw him a big breaking ball, and Sizemore was out in front, barely able to foul that off. Keep this at-bat alive.
Missed low and in, full count. In the bottom of the 4th inning, the middle of the Yankees order will be coming up. They will get their second look at Jake Westbrook. And a good at bat continues for Grady Sizemore. Roger Clemens started. Strained his hamstring. Left after 2 1/3 with 3 runs in. And Philip Hughes takes care of Sizemore. 3 up, 3 down. The big bats are up for the Yankees. Down 2. Well, you know, fellas, the Yankees would love to liberate their bats here in this 4th inning. Tony, a key inning for New York?
I think so. I think they've got the right guy starting off this inning, and Bobby Abreu, who's shown a whole lot of patience in this series. He's been one that, willing to take the walk, willing to go the other way.
And they know that Westbrook, the last inning, struggled to throw strike 1. Wisely takes a pitch here with an 0 for 1 night working so far.
They've had that leadoff man on every inning.
Via the hit, they've had that leadoff man on every inning. But 3 double play balls. Cubs hitting to 4 of them in their series ender last night. Outside corner, good pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Squibbed. Good play, Westbrook. 1 man down. Alex Rodriguez has a hit.
Third baseman Alex Rodriguez.
So guys, the monkey off his back as far as the hit column is concerned, but he still hasn't driven home a run. But he's another guy that can break out at any time. Solo shot here makes it a 1-run game.
Well, I think that first at bat did wonders for his confidence. He really worked the count, worked it to 3-1, got a ball out over the plate that he could handle, went right back up the middle with it.
Towering pop fly to left. Kenny Lofton. And 2 down, a rare fly out in this game. It's time to talk, brought to you by Charles Schwab. Let's check in with Kevin Long, the Yankees hitting coach. Jake Westbrook's sinker making life tough.
Yeah, we've had our chances tonight. We look a lot more comfortable at the plate. Unfortunately, 3 double plays right now have kind of got us and stopped some rallies.
That's what I was going to talk about. Your hitters do look comfortable. The game plan maybe go the other way a little bit more tonight than earlier in the series.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to keep the ball down and away and try to sink everything away from our left-handed hitters. Try to bust maybe our righties in a little bit, but I think for the most part he's going to try to stay down and away, and we just got to get him up. And the ball doesn't sink nearly as much if you get him up, Tony.
Yeah, I know, Kevin, you talk a lot about A-Rod and all your hitters being connected, having their core work together with their hands in unison. Are you seeing that from your hitters, or are they getting away from that a little bit?
Well, the first 2 games, it just seemed like like we were a little tense and not as loose as I've seen us for 162 games. We faced plenty of challenges this year, and our guys have answered, and I just have a pretty good feel, of what they look like when they're loose and get good pitches to hit.
Kevin, thank you for your time. We'll see you later on.
Okay.
So, guys, the Yankees, from Kevin's perspective, look good at the plate, but still not getting much done in the middle of this order.
Wow, they sure aren't. They've had opportunities. They're 1 for 24 in the series. Numbers 4, 5, and 6 for the Yankees, and 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. And if they're going to get back into this game, back into this series, they're going to have to do a better job. They hope to keep getting opportunities like they've gotten tonight, and so hopefully sooner or later one of those guys in the middle of the lineup will step up and get a base hit with guys in scoring position.
Ball 3 outside to Jorge Posada, the Yankee catcher.
And there it is, 4, 5, and 6.
5 Yankee runs in the series on 3 solo homers. A full count now with 2 outs. And as this game progresses, guys, let's look at it again from Cleveland's perspective. If Westbrook gives them 5, maybe 6 with the lead, their bullpen has been untouchable.
And they're thinking about that too. Just Westbrook is rolling along, gotten those double play balls when he's needed them. And the ace in the hole is their bullpen.
Ground ball towards second. Westbrook has given up 1 fly ball out through 4 innings of 1-run baseball. We go to the 5th in New York. Cleveland leads it 3-1.
The MLB Division Series on TBS is brought to you by Chevy, an American Revolution.
The bright lights in the big city. Cleveland 3-1 leads it. And they're up in the 5th inning against Philip Hughes, who's looked very good so far tonight. It'll be Asdrubal Cabrera, Travis Hafner, and Victor Martinez for the Indians, looking to sweep this series.
Hughes' breaking ball has gotten progressively better as he's worked deeper into this ball game. When he first came in, he couldn't get it down in the strike zone, and when he did, he usually bounced it in the dirt, but that's been a very serviceable pitch for him here lately.
Fly ball left field. Damon got a good jump. It hangs up for him, and Cabrera flies out. 5 straight retired after the Peralta double back in the 3rd inning. Again, game 4 of the series here tomorrow night if the Yankees can rally and win it. Paul Bird scheduled to pitch for Cleveland. The Yankees have not announced their starter. If Roger Clemens had gone deep into this game, it might have been Phil Hughes. He's not going to pitch. There's talk about Chin-Ming Wang coming back on short rest and pitching tomorrow, or Mike Mussina. A strike to Hafner.
Now, the reality is when your team is facing elimination, like I said earlier, it's all hands on deck.
Yep.
You may pick a starter, but if he struggles early in the ball game, you're going to have to open up a whole can of bullpen.
There's that good Hughes breaking ball, but it missed. 1 ball, 1 strike.
At the college level, we call that Johnny Fullstaff.
There you go.
Because everybody's going to have to be available.
Breaking ball, he hung with it, and Cano olayed that ball, and Hafner's aboard with 1 out.
Yeah, it looked like Cano wanted nothing to do with that hard hit ball right there. He could have taken a half a step to his right and been in front of this ball, but chooses to hold his ground, drops to a knee and tries to play it off to his right side, gets by into right field.
And that ball was kissed pretty good by Hafner.
So Hafner's aboard for the 3rd time in this game, and they'll rule that an error.
Okay.
So a hit given to Cabrera in the first inning on what was a much easier play, I think, than that one. But now they give Cano an E4. Runner at first, one out. Victor Martinez, the hitter. And he is hitless tonight, 0 for 2.
Well, the Indians are almost relentless with their quality at bats, hitting the ball hard, forcing you to make a play. And even though that ball was hit right at Cano, I mean, Hafner hit that ball right on a button.
Popped him up, shallow center, and playable. Log on to TBS Hot Corner at MLB.com/TBS Hot Corner and watch exclusive online live coverage of postseason action. Ryan Garco, the hitter, with a man on, 2 outs. An RBI single scored as dribble Cabrera in the Cleveland first. Garco was the first man Hughes faced tonight, and Ryan grounded out to the shortstop back in inning number 3. So he's 1 for 2. Good series for Garco. 4 for 9 with 3 runs batted in. A former catcher converted to first base.
Can't get enough catchers on the field.
I understand that.
You guys are right, Garco. He's had a heck of a series. Hit the home run the other way. 4 for 9. Done a nice job.
And Hughes going right after him. 0-2. They're not booing, they're Hughesing, or at least they will be here in a second.
Hughes threw Garco a breaking ball right there, and Garco was out in front.
Hughes, a big kid, 6'5", 220 pounds, first round pick of the Yankees in 2004. Fastball pinpoint over the inside corner, inning over. Jake Westbrook is pitching a beauty tonight. 3 double play balls in this game. And he goes to work in the 5th with Giambi, Matsui, and Cano coming up. Giambi rolled out to second his first time up. Indians have a radical defensive shift on for him again, with Asdrubal Cabrera playing about 15 yards into right field. And a slow curve in for a strike. Tied him up inside, and Giambi laid off.
I understand the theory of this shift, but it looks to me like Cabrera is playing too close to the right field line. Ryan Garco over there, first base, has some range, and it looks like Cabrera's almost backing him up.
Anthony, strike 2 call.
Of course, this is based on at bat after at bat after at bat. The defensive charts that the Indians have down in their dugout. This is how they position themselves for Jason Giambi, and it worked last time.
Now, I just can't believe how, we're down 2-0.
And Giambi down swinging. Westbrook's first strikeout of the night. And it's again time to talk, brought to you by Charles Schwab. Let's check in with Carl Willis, the Cleveland pitching coach. Westbrook has the sinker working.
Well, you're right, Chip. You know, he's a contact-oriented pitcher, and we're just trying to keep the ball down in the strike zone. And those double plays, as you well know, they keep that pitch count down and get us out of those big innings, and that's what we're trying to stay away from.
You know, Carl, not to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but Rafael Perez threw 2 innings in game 1, 2 innings in game 2, had the day off yesterday. Could you stretch him out to 2 innings today if you need it?
Well, we feel like he can go 1+. Again, it kind of depends on how efficient he is with his pitches. We have Rafael Betancourt and Aaron Foltz, who's playoff tested as well on the left-handed side. So we're not afraid to go to Rafi tonight, and we'll just look at his pitch count to see how far we can take him.
Carl, your staff's been great. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Okay, thanks very much, guys.
The 60th pitch Westbrook threw tonight ended up in left field, and again the Yankees have the tying run on in the 5th inning, and Robinson Cano the hitter.
That's a nice job of hitting by Matsui, going the other way with a sinker. Westbrook in pretty good shape, only 60 pitches.
And that's what those double play balls will do for you. That's down the left field line. Long run Lofton. He can't get there. That's a fair ball. Matsui on his way to third. Cano doubles. Second and third and 1 out.
Because of the way Cano can drive the ball, Kenny Lofton shading a little bit to left center. And you see he backs that ball up nice, and that ball's got a little bit of a carve on him. It's going to run away from Kenny Lofton out in left field. You see, he knows he can't make the catch. Does a nice job playing the carom, but the Yankees got runners in scoring position, and again, they've been looking for somebody to deliver. With ducks on the pond, they get another opportunity here in the 5th.
This is the first time in this series that the Yankee offense has managed to put together back-to-back hits. If they can make 3 hits in a row, they figure to tie the game. One ball, no strikes to Cabrera.
Good patience there by Cabrera. The sinker in the middle of the zone, laid off.
Line drive, base hit. 1 run scores. It's 3-2. Snap throw back to first, and Cabrera in safely.
Tony, you talked about it earlier with Kevin Long, the hitting coach for the Yankees, about going to the opposite field. That's what they've done so successfully here the last couple of at-bats, last 3 at-bats. Clean single into left field. Lofton does not throw well, but that ball got to him so quickly. Larry Bowa had no choice but to stop Cano at third base.
And that's the approach these Yankee hitters are going to have to take. Cabrera did 2 great things in that at-bat. 1, he got a ball up, got a sinker elevated, and 2, he went with it. He didn't try to pull it. He went right with it, lined it into left field. Puts the Yankees within 1.
And now the Indians bullpen will start to work.
In a hurry. This is the kind of rally that sneaks up on you. Westbrook had been cruising along, throwing the big double play grounders when he needed them. Really wasn't in much trouble at all in this ballgame, and all of a sudden the Yankees have figured him out here in the bottom half of the 5th inning, and It is a fire drill down in that Indians bullpen right now.
Aaron Foltz, the lefty. Lewis, the righty. Another huge momentum-shifting inning here in this 5th inning. You've got Damon, who runs well, 2 for 2 up there. You have Westbrook, whose sinker has been sinking beautifully. He's thinking double play ball. Damon, at the very least, is thinking fly ball to tie it up. And there's been only one fly out in this game from Westbrook. Good stop by Victor Martinez. Westbrook putting on the 4 corners, and he needs to. He's got 2 men on the corners now, and a slim 1-run lead.
And Damon again being patient. With that sinker ball away, the one thing when you're trying to go the other way with it, it's a whole lot easier to go the other way if that ball is elevated a little bit. If that ball's down, like that last sinker, that could end up being a tailor-made double play ball. So the key is to try to get the ball up, try to get it elevated.
Fly ball hit high in the air, deep right field. Back goes Nixon. Yankees lead.
Talk about getting a sinker up. Look at that ball. Belled high, outer part of the plate. Damon gets full extension. Pulls it back to right field. A high fly ball that just did get out of here to right field.
The Yankees' bats have been pests here in the 5th. 4 consecutive hits. A 3-run Damon homer turns the game around. Yankees now lead 5-3. And here's Jeter. 7th career postseason homer for Johnny Damon. The Yankees punished Westbrook April 17th. That was a 10-3 game. Westbrook gave up 8 runs in an inning and 2/3. And again, fly balls have been so rare to the left-hand hitters in this ballpark. They usually are big trouble.
Yeah, well, you want to get a ball up, and you see where that ball ended up. You know, man on first and third, you're thinking about a ball that's elevated so you can drive that run in. And Johnny Damon turns it around, hits it out of the ballpark. And Bob, you're exactly right. These kind of innings, it just kind of snuck up on him. One mistake in the middle of the plate, elevated, and Johnny Damon makes them pay.
Well, the first 3 base hits, you could almost see it was more of just a good approach by the Yankees hitters, staying inside the ball, driving it the other way, but The big mistake to Johnny Damon.
Line foul. And the question is now for Eric Wedge and the difficulty of the American League game. How long do you ride your pitcher? This is what happened to Westbrook in April. One of the 6 Alex Rodriguez hit against Cleveland pitching this year, and Jorge Posada, the 3rd in that 10-3 Yankee rout. Line center field, but playable for Sizemore. Hard hit ball, but 2 are down. So after 4 straight hits and 4 runs in, Jeter lines out, and Bobby Abreu's up, also 0 for 2.
Yankee hitters have had great approaches this inning, and you saw, even though Derek Jeter made it out, guys high-fiving him, slapping him on the back, saying good at bat, because that's what you want to do. You want to make him throw pitches, get a ball, get that ball up, and that was a good at bat by Derek Jeter. Teammates letting him know.
Strike 1 to Abreu. So the first big offensive inning by the Yankees in the series turns the game around. Fisted towards short, and that'll retire the side. Or listen to the Yankee crowd. 6th inning. The Yankees 5-3.
Feed off the energy of the stadium. Fans are in it, they're on their feet the entire time. I don't really know if words can describe it. It's just basically a dream come true.
The Yankees' dream season may continue. They're up 5-3 now into the 6th inning. First time in this series, guys, the Indians have trailed by anything larger than 1 run. It's a 5-3 game because that man hit a 3-run homer, Johnny Damon. Johnny Peralta starts things off. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Obviously a huge inning for the Cleveland Indians to see how this young aggressive ball club can bounce off the mat here, at least try to get something going against the Yankees. A quick 1-2-3 inning. I don't know.
Left side and through for Peralta, who's 2 for 3, and now the Indians bring the tying run to the plate. Here's tonight's Sonic Trivia question. Over the previous 4 postseasons, what was the record for National League Western Division teams? 2 of them obviously will face off in this year's National League Championship Series starting next week here on TBS. So what was the postseason record for the National League West of the last 4 postseasons?
It wasn't good. It wasn't that good, I know that. And I was just getting ready to say what a job Philip Hughes has done since coming in for Roger Clemens.
Job at Chamberlain, number 62.
And Peralta hit a pretty good pitch in the hole for a base hit.
It's a little bit of a stalling tactic here by Ron Guidry to give Jabba Chamberlain an opportunity to throw some more pitches down in that Yankee bullpen. Also probably to alert Philip Hughes to be alert for the bunt. Kenny Lofton loves to bunt for a base hit. It's a very big part of his offensive arsenal. But more than anything else, just to give that big right-hander a chance to throw a few warm-up pitches down there.
And also to apply some insect repellent if needed. Lofton 0 for 2 in the game. 1 on, none out. Lofton 5 for 9 in the series. Showed bunt, took a ball. 1 ball, no strikes.
Kenny Lofton this entire series has taken pretty good swings. Showing Eric Wedge he can put the bat on the ball.
Kenny, as you know, a great college basketball player at the University of Arizona. One of two men to have played in the NCAA Final Four and the World Series. The other, Tim Stoddard, who played on the 1974 NC State National Championship club. We'll see what Lofton does in the final 4 innings of this game tonight. Just off the plate, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Struck out Lofton. Philip Hughes throwing the gas. 4 strikeouts as we join Craig Sager.
Well, the Yankees down 2-0 in this series, looking for a big player, big hit to turn this game and possibly the series around. Could it be that 3-run homer by Johnny Damon, just as it was the flip back in 2001? Down 2-0 to Oakland, a 1-run game in the 8th inning. The overthrow. There was Derek Jeter with a flip to get Giambi at the plate. That was the pivotal play of that series. Could the home run by Damon be the same for this one?
We shall see. That's certainly one of many great moments in Yankee postseason history. And Damon's home run has this crowd electrified, and the stuff of Hughes continues to be electric. Best curveball, best control among the Yankees pitching prospects, possessed by this kid who figures to be a fixture in rotation next year.
He's been impressive since coming in. Done a good job of changing speeds. Needed to throw the ball by guys. He's been able to do that. You see, he's only given up 2 hits, 4 Ks. Like we've talked about many times, after your team has gone out and put some runs on the board, you sure like to get them back in there with a shutout inning.
Well, it would be only apropos, as that pitch misses low to Trot Nixon, that for the Yankees, if Philip Hughes picks up his first postseason win, it would come against the team against which he picked up his first Major League regular season win. He beat the Indians August 10th. And Jabba Chamberlain pitched 2 innings, struck out 4 men in that game too, and that might be the tandem that we see here in the 6th and the 7th inning tonight. Trot Nixon ahead in the count, 2 balls and a strike.
The noise is tremendous.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Casey Blake waits next. Will they run here, Bobby?
I don't think so. Philip Hughes got a couple of different strikeout pitches. He's thrown that 4-seamer past some of the Indians hitters. He's thrown some real good breaking balls.
Joe Torre in a must-win. Runner holds and the pitch fouled away. Again, if you missed the start of our telecast and missed the news from New York today, Yankees backs against the wall, down 2-0 in the series. George Steinbrenner said if Joe does not win this game or this series, it is unlikely he would be back as the Yankee manager. Joe Torre mentioning that before the game today. Nothing new. This is New York. It's the Yankees. You're expected to win. Well, they're winning now and trying to force a game 4 tomorrow. And Nixon spoils another.
I thought it was pretty amazing. Joe was calm. Players were calm. Everybody really associated with the Yankees that are on the field were calm today. They went about their business as usual. Lots of people asking lots of questions today, but from the team itself, they've just gone about their business, and they kept battling and battling, and then finally gotten a lead in this series, in this game.
Popped him up. Two down. So again, it's interesting to watch the momentum shift. We heard Kevin Long, the Yankee hitting coach, say, look, I think my team's relaxed. I like their approach at the plate. They couldn't get anything done against Westbrook in the first 3 innings. All of a sudden, they break through, grab the lead. Now it's the Indians all of a sudden that have stopped hitting. After the 3rd inning, they have only 1 hit and 2 runners aboard. This from a club that had base runners all over the place in game 2 and scored 12 runs on 13 hits in game 1. So yes, in the playoffs, 1 play, 1 situation can change the tenor of a series on a dime.
Yep.
And Tony, you know as well as anybody, sometimes it just starts with that first line drive.
That's exactly right. Kevin Long talked about it. Their approach today was pretty good. They just didn't back a ball up enough, and sometimes one swing of the bat can get the ball going in the right direction, and the Yankees have taken advantage, and now they've got the lead.
And that's what we said in specific with regards to Alex Rodriguez. He doesn't have to hit a home run, just get a hit. Well, he did that tonight. As Blake shoots one to right field. That's pretty well hit, but Abreu is there. Philip Hughes may be saving the Yankee season. 5-3 mid-6th.
The MLB Division Series on TBS is brought to you by Chevy, an American revolution, and by Claritin Allergy Products. Live Claritin Clear.
There's a beautiful look at the Chrysler Building and downtown New York. Last of the 6th inning, Yankees trying to pick up their first win of the series and send it to game 4 tomorrow night. Long way to go in this one, as Alex Rodriguez will lead off against Jake Westbrook, who battles on down 2. The Cleveland bullpen is busy in case he has any more trouble. Rodriguez singled back in the 2nd inning. He's also popped out to left. And he squibs one down the first base line, foul. And an 0-2 hole.
Westbrook's thrown him 2 breaking balls. The second one, Rodriguez out in front of that, kind of cued it off the end of his bat.
I'll tell you, I'm a little surprised to see Westbrook back out there on the mound. Not only did he give up the 3-run homer to Johnny Damon, but we talked about it between innings. The outs that he was giving up have started to come in the air, and that's not a good sign for a sinker ball pitcher. Granted, his pitch count is only at 77 now in the ball game, very manageable, but when a sinker ball pitcher starts giving up fly ball outs, that's a red flag.
But he is ahead of A-Rod here, who did record the first flyout in this game. And the count 1 ball 2 strikes to the Yankee third baseman. Dropped down sidearm, and Rodriguez fought it off and broke his bat.
Last pitch by Westbrook. Same kind of movement Carmona had on his little sinker down and in to A-Rod. Take a look at this movement on this pitch. Not as much velocity, but the same kind of movement. Trying to run that ball in on Alex's hands there.
I think the velocity made the difference.
Absolutely.
When Carmona threw that sinker to that location, A-Rod swung over the top of it. That time able to get a piece and stay alive.
And maybe the key is that he swung it all because it's not a strike. Will they go there again with a 1-2? Ground ball deep short. Peralta from the cut of the outfield grass. Long throw. Bad throw. A-Rod's aboard, leading off the 6th inning. Can't quibble with that call. That's an infield hit.
Well, Peralta went to the backhand here, and he was going to have to set his feet and make a real strong throw to get A-Rod. See, the throw is high, and I think he would have beat it anyway.
And so with the man aboard for the Yankees in the 6th, up 5-3, Eric Wedge is going to go get the baseball, and he will go to the bullpen. So Jake Westbrook goes 5+ and trails 5-3 at Yankee Stadium.
It's the bottom of the 6th, and the Yankees have gotten to Jake Westbrook. That's all for the Indian starter, replaced by Aaron Fultz. Meanwhile, Philip Hughes for the Yankees, I don't know if that's the last we're going to see of him, but based on the reception he got in the dugout coming out after the top of the 6th inning, it appears that he has done his job and done it well, whether he stays into the game or not. Coming in down 3-0. He held the Indians in check, so the rookie coming in for the Fuhrer Hall of Famer, Roger Clemens, getting a great ovation after the top of the 6th inning in the Yankee dugout by all the veterans and the coaching staff and manager Joe Torre, regardless of whether he comes out for another inning or not.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. And so indeed, for the Yankees, a child shall lead them. Joe Torre said at the start of the series, a lot of kids in that bullpen, and he will use them. Picked a great spot to choose Hughes here tonight. And he has pitched well enough to take the lead into our 6th inning. DHL presents our MLB delivery man. Tonight we focus on the Indians bullpen. It has been outstanding. The 2 Raphaels and Jensen Lewis have not given up anything to the Yankees. This will be the first appearance for Aaron Fultz, a veteran lefty out of the Cleveland pen. Fans, go to MLB.com to cast your vote for the 2007 DHL presents the MLB Delivery Man of the Year award. Jake Westbrook, 5 innings plus. And now Jorge Posada, 0 for 6 against Fultz lifetime. We'll try to tack on a couple more for New York in inning number 6. And a quick strike.
Right now, if you're Cleveland, boy, you're looking for a ground ball here. Get you a double play. See Aaron Fultz's numbers. Opponent's average 220, 228. Not a strikeout guy.
Line to left field. So the first man Fultz faces in postseason play is an American League pitcher. Is Jorge Posada, and he rifles a clean single. 2 on, nobody out.
That's been standard procedure throughout Posada's career. When you can, you want to turn him around to the right side of the plate. This year he hit .341 as a left-handed hitter, .331 as a right-handed hitter. Not much of an advantage anymore. Posada with a nice at-bat drives that ball into left field for a base hit.
So now with the Yankees in front and Jason Giambi due, will Joe Torre go to his bench and bring on Doug Minkiewicz, not only for what he can do offensively, but more importantly with the lead in the latter portion of this game, a much better glove man than Giambi.
Yeah, this is a move Joe Torre would have made anyway with the lead going into the top half of the 7th inning. He would have taken Giambi out for Minkiewicz. And also Doug Minkiewicz, very unusual in the American League, has put down 6 sacrifice bunts. Not so sure that's what Joe Torre will ask him to do in this situation, but certainly something he's done successfully throughout the regular season.
Yeah, I think he's going to bunt here. I think you got a lead. You want to add to that lead. And even though you have a left-hand hitter in Matsui on deck, it's a good situation here where Minkiewicz looking to get that ball down and move these runners into scoring position.
And for Doug, he's hoping that this series gets a whole lot better than the way it started. Run over by a cameraman up in Cleveland. First and second, nobody out. He's showing bunt. And he pushes it beautifully to third. So the Yankees fellas can bunt. Second and third, one out.
And he executed it perfectly.
Right where you want to bunt that ball. Force the third baseman to come in and make the play. Keep it away from the pitcher, and that's exactly what Minkiewicz does. The only play that Blake has is to go across the diamond for the out at first.
So the lefty-lefty matchup that Joe Torre wanted is Matsui and Fultz. But he won't get it. They're going to walk him to load him up. And then Robinson Cano will be the man of the hour.
Well, you're walking Matsui here, you know, hoping that you can get a ground ball from Robinson Cano, the next hitter. And Cano's a guy that uses the whole field. You take your shot, you put Matsui on, and you hope that you can get a ground ball here. But if you look at Cano's hit chart, he's spraying the ball around the whole yard. A few more hits to the pull side, but you know, 54 and 45. Up the middle and the other way, you're gladly going to accept that. And this is a situation where, you know, he doesn't necessarily mean he has to pull the ball here. He can still hit the ball the other way.
And this is a spot where the Yankees have to score another run if they want to win this game, I think. Top of the Indians orders up next.
I think they feel that way, that they need to add to their lead right here. This is one of those opportunities. We talked about execution.
And they do. Scores. They're still loaded. Ball gets by Nixon. Posada scores. Matsui scores. Cano to third, and the game is busted wide open.
Talked about Cano using the whole field. That's a fastball up in the zone, and he turns it around in the right field for a base hit. Perfect position, and he drives this ball into right field, and Trot Nixon kind of takes his eye off the ball for a split second and then bounces past him, and a couple more runs score.
Infield in now for Cabrera. And what was the point I made earlier about the metaphor of a shaken soda bottle with the Yankees? After the Matsui single in the fifth and the Cano double to left, New York has scored 7 runs. And they lead the game now 8-3.
The Yankees have had opportunities in this series that they hadn't cashed in, and tonight cash in a big way. A home run by Damon, the base hit right there by Cano.
Ground ball right to third. Blake looks the man back, throws to first. Good play, 2 outs. So while we have a chance to catch our breath, let's revisit our Sonic trivia question. Over the previous 4 postseasons, what was the National League West team's record? Tony, what was your answer? It was very, very
not good.
Right on. You are. I tell you what, that's some great analysis. Because you're right, 3-15 last year, but unbeaten this year. Cubs and the Phillies were swept.
They turned that all around though this year.
Last at bat turned the game around for New York for Johnny Damon.
Hickey up in the zone, and he turned it around in an opportunity where they needed a big hit. Johnny Damon delivered, and it's kind of opened up the floodgates for the Yankees.
And perhaps for another 24 hours, takes a little of the heat off Joe Torre, his staff, and maybe more importantly, guys, his club.
Now, we talked about it before. All the questions for Joe Torre in the pregame interview session were about George Steinbrenner's comments. We saw Brian Cashman down on the field, the general manager of the Yankees, before the game, swarmed by the media. I'm sure they weren't asking about A-Rod's mechanics. All the attention went to Joe Torre, George Steinbrenner, and the ball club, as you said, Tony, came out loose, relaxed, went about their business.
You suggested, Bob, that it might have been a ploy, for lack of a better word, by King George, as you called it, to do what leaders are supposed to do. Take the heat, take the attention, and let the guys that you put in the lineup card do their thing.
Well, if indeed it was a ploy, it has worked tonight.
The players, I think, accepted some of the responsibility, too. They know they haven't played well in the first 2 games. Took it upon themselves to try to do some things right tonight. And we've seen the result. I mean, even on a night where Roger Clemens only gives you 2 and some change, you know, they've still been able to overcome that and put some runs on the board and get themselves a lead.
Swing and a miss, and that'll retire the side. 3 more Yankee runs come across. A big error in right leads the Yankees to an 8-3 score. We head to the 7th inning. The Yankees have a 5-run lead, trying to force a game 4 tomorrow night. And indeed, Jabba rules. There he is, Jabba Chamberlain, on for the 2nd appearance in this series. Unbelievable work in regular season play. But last time out, the Bugs got him at Jacobs Field. Couple of wild pitches, and it turned the game around.
I've never seen anything like that. And the wild pitches and the Bugs. Providing the Sizemore there on that play. Walked a couple of hitters, had a couple of wild pitches.
Well, it was Roger Clemens who said, were he the umpire or the manager, he would have asked the game to be stopped. It didn't seem to bother Fausto Carmona. We'll see if Chamberlain can do his thing, and there's a good start. Guys, I'm not one that's a big fan of the radar gun. I think it does more harm than good when you get guys out there looking at how fast they can throw. This guy's an exception, though.
He gets it up there in a hurry. I think for the fans, it's fun to see that radar gun, to see if it's going to hit 3 digits. And last fastball, 99 miles an hour.
A ball and a strike. Grady Sizemore. It's low. 2-1 your count. Joe Torre saw Roger Clemens go 2 1/3. Gave it everything he had. The hamstring just wouldn't cooperate. Neither would the Indians. They touched him for 3 runs. Philip Hughes came on. 3 2/3 innings of 2-hit relief. The Yankees' bats exploded for 4 runs in the 5th, 3 in the 6th, erasing a 3-run Cleveland advantage. And now Jabba Chamberlain evens the count at 2-2 to Sizemore.
First time in the series where the Indians have been down. And you want to see how they respond. It's going to be tough against a guy like Chamberlain, but pretty much the whole series they've had good at-bats, good game plans. See if they can continue to execute.
Fouled away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. If we do have game 4 here tomorrow night, join us on TBS beginning at 7 o'clock Eastern time for MLB On Deck. Ernie Johnson, Cal Ripken Jr., Frank Thomas et al. Will be in the studio. And then our first pitch, 7:37 if necessary, here in the Bronx tomorrow night. Full count. And now it's the Indians' turn to work the count. The game plan for the Yankees from this point on pretty simple tonight. If Chamberlain has an easy 7th and feels good, send him out for the 8th and turn it over to maybe Mariano Rivera if need be in the 9th. And that's a good way for the Yankees to start. Filthy pitch, 1 out.
Against Jabba Chamberlain, opponents are now 4 for 51 when they get 2 strikes on him in an at bat. Nasty breaking ball right there.
A steady diet of 90+ mile per hour fastballs. You know, off speed pitch down in the zone. Had Grady Sizemore fooled.
So as Drupal Cabrera stands in. There's Mariano Rivera. The lead too great for him to get a save tonight. But if need be, you know he'll be ready. From 99 to 79.
And again, these Yankee fans letting them know they're behind him.
Two are out.
As a hitter, you feel like you have to be ready to hit something in the high 90s, and then he snaps off a breaking ball like that down low in the zone, breaking it into the dirt. That's a defenseless feeling as a hitter. You wouldn't know anything about that, Tony. I swung at that pitch all the time.
That is not fair right there.
A big bucket full of nasty for the Tribe in the 7th. And here's strength against strength. Hafner can hit it a mile. He's been on base 3 times, scored once. One ball, no strikes. Cleveland led this thing 3-0, then 3-1. It's been all Yankees since. .6'3", 230 pounds from Lincoln, Nebraska, and the University of Nebraska. 2-0.
Took a little off, painted the corner there with a 95-mile-an-hour heater.
Fun to manage guys like that, isn't it, Bobby?
Oh, yeah, makes you real smart.
Nice job, too, by Posada. Trying to get Chamberlain to, take a deep breath. And a nice job setting up on that outside corner.
His last pitch broke about 1.5 feet. He thought that was strike 3. So did Alex Rodriguez, who took about 6 steps toward the Yankee dugout. Popped him up. Abreu in right. And Jabba rules indeed. 7th inning stretch at Yankee Stadium as we join Jim Hall as we honor America with God Bless America in Game 3 in the Bronx.
Your attention, please. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise? Please direct your attention now to the microphone behind home plate and welcome Decca Universal Classics recording artist Ronan Tynan. In honor of the service men and women stationed around the globe, Dr. Tynan will now sing God Bless America.
While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair, as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
And now, please.
Last of the 7th inning, Yankees in command of Game 3. 8-3 your score. Bob Brenly, Tony Gwynn, Chip Carey with you. A real tale of two ball games here for the Yankees and Indians tonight. Tribe led early by 3. Jake Westbrook had the ground ball working early and often. Then Roger Clemens started, ran into some trouble, had to leave. Phil Hughes came on, and the Yankees took command of the game.
Yeah, I think you have to give a real huge tip of the cap if you're a Yankee fan to Phil Hughes. He brought some sanity back to the ball game, put some zeros on the board, and his offense finally got it going.
4 straight hits for the Yankees in the 5th, capped by the Johnny Damon 3-run homer that turned the game around. Yankees added 3 more in the 6th inning on 3 hits. A very big error by Trot Nixon in right cleared the bases as Jensen Lewis, the 3rd Indian pitcher of the night, works against Derek Jeter. And Lewis misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Game 4, if necessary, tomorrow night. Paul Byrd for Cleveland. The Yankees have not announced a starter, but as Bob mentioned a few moments ago, all hands on deck. As Jeter looks inside, 2 balls and a strike. Jeter's had a rough series at the plate. 1 hit in 11 tries. He's hitting 2 double plays tonight.
I was going to say, you know, if you're the Yankees, you sure like to see Derek Jeter get in the mix here and get a couple of knocks, get him going.
And line foul, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, and maybe the fact that the Yankees have a 5-run lead in this ball game will take a little pressure off of everybody in that lineup. You know, when you're trailing in the ball game or it's tied, every time you step into that batter's box, you feel like you must do something to help your team. But with a comfortable 5-run lead at this point, perhaps everybody a little more relaxed.
Rifle back foul, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, Craig Sager mentioned it earlier, talking about Derek Jeter and the flip. That game against the Oakland A's in division series play. The Yankees were down 2 games to none, came back and won that series. Well, they play tonight, would potentially play tomorrow at home with a chance to send it back to Cleveland if they can win 2 in a row here. And when you're down in a series, guys, I would imagine, especially in a town like New York, especially with all the big names and the big contracts and the big expectations, human nature would tell you we've got to win 3 games in a row. But that's probably the worst possible approach you could have coming into a do-or-die game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think you kind of take it, you know, 1 inning at a time, 1 pitch at a time. And I know it's a cliche, but I think the Yankees have approached it correct today. They've taken, you know, whatever they gave them and tried to take it, you know, try to take advantage of it.
And they've really taken care of things, as you'll see on our Baby Ruth 7th inning stretch game summary. The Indians led 2-0 on a Trot Nixon solo home run. Roger Clemens, the last man he faced tonight, he struck out. A pat on the cheek from Joe Torre. He left. Then Johnny Damon with the 4th hit in a row in the 5th inning for the Yankees. It left the park. 5-3 the score. And then a Robinson Cano single, an error on Trot Nixon and right, cleared the bases. 8-3 New York the score now, with 1 out in inning number 7. And that was your Baby Ruth 7th inning stretch game summary. Hitless game for Bobby Abreu. And Lewis, the pride of Vanderbilt University, blisters a fastball right through there, and the count evens 1-1.
The fact that you can put 8 runs on the board and have Jeter go hitless, and up to this point Abreu go hitless, I think it's a pretty good sign.
Well, the game plan for Cleveland real simple. If they can get 6 out of their starters, with Perez, with Betancourt, and Jensen Lewis, who gave up only 1 earned run the entire month of September, leading up to Joe Borowski, they'll take their chances with that in this series or any other that they are fortunate enough to play in. And Lewis working for the 2nd time in this series, pitched in the opener and struck out a man in 1 inning of work. And he throws it right by Bobby Abreu. 2 swinging strikeouts in the Yankees 7th inning.
For the hitter, I'm sure Lewis has got to be sneaky. He almost short arms the ball, and he just threw that ball right by Bobby Abreu.
And once again on pitch tracks, you can see how that ball held its line. That's an indication that's that 4-seam fastball. Didn't have the same kind of sink that we've seen from some of the other pitchers in this series.
That's got to be a tough adjustment for a hitter to make with all the sinking action we've talked so much about. And all of a sudden, for the first time tonight, we're actually hearing the MVP chant from the Yankees fans, with New York in front. Rodriguez up with 2 hits and 3 tries and a run scored. Kind of joking at the start of the series, A-Rod will win the MVP in the American League. Just overwhelming numbers. 54 homers, 156 driven in, but this series perhaps in and of itself will determine what the V stands for, valuable or vilified. And he's certainly redeemed himself tonight.
He's actually swung the bat pretty good, I think, in this whole series. I mean, he had a couple of pitches they hit off Sabathia, Carmona really gave him a lot of trouble with that sinker running down and in. He was swinging over the top of it, but tonight he's shown some patience. He's worked the count. He's had some pitches to hit. His first base hit, he hit right on the button.
Wow. Jensen Lewis comes in and strikes out the side. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the 8th. Our American League Division Series on TBS is presented by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. The Yankees up 8-3 now. 2 innings left in the Bronx. Can the Indians, who have been such a big comeback team all year, come back from a 5-run hole on the road and complete a 3-game sweep? They'll have the middle of their order coming up. Victor Martinez, Ryan Garco, and Johnny Peralta. But since the end of the 2nd inning, Cleveland's offense has been completely shut down. They have a grand total of 2 hits. And only 4 base runners as Jabba Chamberlain Powder River for a strike. Did you face anybody that threw with that big of a differential in your time, Tony?
I can't. Nolan Ryan's the only guy that I can think of who threw that hard. Had that big a break on his breaking ball, but I think Nolan's might have been a little harder than 70, 74 or whatever that was.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Anybody come to mind for you, Bobby?
It seemed like they all pitched like that when I faced them.
But what a lift for the Yankees. Jabba Chamberlain reminding some of that dynamic duo of John Wetland and Mariano Rivera during those great early Yankee years with Joe Torre, when they were either winning or in the World Series virtually every year. And Joe said, look, if we pitch, meaning the Yankees, if we pitch well, we're going to have a chance to win the game. And that's no great shakes, no big news flash. As that ball scalded and under the glove of Cano and into right center field. So Victor Martinez whacks a shot to right center and leads off the 8th inning.
How impressive is Victor Martinez being able to get on top of this ball? This ball is up.
96 miles an hour and up out of the strike zone. Manages to jerk that ball back through the right side of the infield. Actually looked like Cano could have had a play on that ball. Got through into right field.
So Garco's up. He's 1 for 3. The Indians this year had 23 wins in their last at bat. So they get a couple here. Never know. Yankees looking to turn a double play if they can make contact. Jeter to his right. Second for 1. Garco, a former catcher, and he's out. Just what the doctor ordered. 6-4-3. Bases clear.
A good example of Derek Jeter knowing who the runner was. Anybody else at the plate, he probably really tries to rush this double play, but took his time. A good firm feed to second base to Cano and an easy turn to complete the double play.
So 44 comebacks, 23 in the last at bat for Cleveland, and they've done it when trailing late. Johnny Peralta has had a good night. He's 2 for 3.
Again, 2-0 would be easy. You got a 5-run lead. It's been easy just to give in and throw a fastball. Nope. Posada wanted to go with the breaking ball, and it's not even a good one, and you get a strike. That's Chamberlain trusting what Posada's putting down.
Just off the plate. And a rare 3-ball, 1-strike count tonight from Jabba Chamberlain. Totally in command, totally comfortable, not at all distracted by anything. In Game 3, a marked difference from what we saw in Cleveland. And now he'll try to finish the 8th with a flourish. But he walked his man. So Peralta aboard yet again tonight. That's the 3rd walk issued by the Yankees in this game. First by Chamberlain. And now Kenny Lofton's up. Lofton 0-for-3, 5-for-10 in the series. And the pitch count mounting for Chamberlain now. Ron Guidry is going to pop out and talk to him. That'll give the Yankee pen some time to go right to work.
In the Yankees bullpen,
Right-hander Jose Veras is getting up and getting ready. We saw him in Game 1. Don't forget our National League Championship Series exclusively here on TBS. Bob, Tony, and I, along with Craig Sager, will be joining you from Chase Field in Phoenix. The Colorado Rockies will take on Bob Melvin and his Arizona Diamondbacks. Ball 1 to Kenny Lofton.
That should be a great series. The Diamondbacks, one of the most solid fundamental teams in baseball. The Rockies, undoubtedly the hottest team going into the postseason.
Lofton pops it out of play. But because both teams swept, Bobby, Tony, I'd like to get your input on this too. Yeah, you want to get to the next round. I understand that. But I would imagine a 4-day wait for Colorado may be the worst possible thing for them. As hot as they've been, they want to get out and play every day as long as they can, you think.
Yeah, I would suspect both teams would like to play. Both
yeah,
teams,
sure.
Sweeping their series, and now they get 3, 4, or 5 days off before you play again. It gives you a chance to get your rotation in order, get some guys who are maybe beat up a couple of days off.
Slapped down the left field line by Lofton. That's in for a hit. So first and second now with 2 out. The pitch count for Chamberlain at 32. And Trot Nixon looking to atone for his error in right field. And I think that might do it for Chamberlain here. Joe Torre gesturing to Robinson Cano to ask if the bullpen's ready.
Robinson Cano trying to be the the guy in the middle here to try to get the signal from the bullpen.
Robinson Cano says, "Don't you have a phone in that dugout?
It may not be working.
Just call him." It looked like Joe Torre was trying to get Veras to warm up a little quicker and get ready to come into this ball game. And it looked like Ron Guidry gave the nod of approval that he's ready to go, but not quite sure what that exchange was all about there.
So 1 ball, no strikes. Now Posada out for a chat as Chamberlain misses to Trot Nixon, who hit a solo home run here. So watch. Joe Torre signaling to Cano to look to the bullpen. Cano raised his cap, which is the universal signal for a pitcher telling everybody he's ready. But Rivera's not in the game as Nixon smacks that toward left. Damon, good jump, can't get there. It splits the gap. 1 run scores. Lofton, big turnaround third, stops there as Nixon doubles home Johnny Peralta. And it's an 8-4 game in the 8th inning. Chamberlain running out of some steam in the 8th.
Nice job by Trot Nixon. Fastball away. He stays back, drives this ball into left center field. Perfect again. In between Damon and Cabrera out there, and I think Lofton he could have scored on that ball. They wanted to have that runner thrown out at the plate, not take a chance. Held Kenny Lofton up at third.
So the Indians, as we showed you earlier in this inning, doing what they've done very well all year. They're coming back, and that forces the hand of Joe Torre. Vera sits down, and Mariano Rivera has to get up. And now with Nixon, Franklin Gutierrez will come on and pinch run for him, and in all likelihood stay in the game to play right field.
Running for Lofton, number 38, Franklin Gutierrez.
So they're at second and third for Blake. Casey tonight is 0 for 3.
That was the first hit against Jabba Chamberlain this year, including the postseason, with runners in scoring position. Hitters were 0 for 20 before that double by Trot Nixon.
Well, he tagged it, did Trot Nixon. A good night for him. A hunch played by Eric Wedge paid off beautifully tonight. 2 big hits, 2 RBIs. But the Indians still down 4 in the 8th. This also turns the lineup over for Cleveland. It could make a potential save for Mariano Rivera, Tony, even tougher. Like most teams faced when they had to face the Padres, they knew you were coming up in that 9th inning. You know, the Indians have a good shot at getting Hafner, Martinez, and Garco up again against Rivera.
Well, those guys, as you see, they haven't quit. They've kept trying to put good at bats together, and Nixon gets the double, gets them back within 4. He's behind on account to Blake here, and if Blake can get on, the tying run comes to the plate.
A high strike. Blake not too sure. 2 balls, 1 strike. Fly ball right field. Well hit, but playable. Inning over. Indians get 1, trail by 4. Back in the Bronx, plenty of smiles on the Yankees' faces at this point, up 8-4 in the 8th inning. Couple of changes for the Tribe. Franklin Gutierrez into the game to play right, and on to pitch is Joe Borowski. Borowski, the American League saves leader for Cleveland this year, saved 45 games. That's 5 more than Bobby Jenks, Francisco Rodriguez of the Angels, and J.J. Putz of the Mariners. When the game's on the line, Joe's been great. That high ERA, a result of a 9.60 ERA in non-save situations like this. In fact, guys, Borowski did something this year that has never been done before in the history of baseball. 40 or more saves with an ERA over 5.
Wow. Well, as you said, obviously in the save situations, and for whatever reason, I think all closers are like that. You bring them into a ball game to give them an inning of work, and it seems like invariably they struggle. They give up base runners. They give up runs.
And Joe Borowski on this Cleveland team is probably the antithesis of the arms we have seen so far in the series. He does not throw the ball 95 miles an hour. He relies on location and unbelievable guts. And right, Bobby, a little movement too?
A little bit of movement, yeah. He'll turn the ball over a little bit, try to get some sink on that two-seamer, change speeds, as you said.
Sure, this is a situation where Eric Wedge wants him to get an inning. He hadn't pitched in the series at all. And even though you're down 4 runs, you want to get him an inning, try to keep him sharp.
So he's got a 2-2 count on Posada. Jorge singled and scored in that 3-run New York 6th. And the count is full, 3-2. Borowski grew up just across the way in Bayonne, New Jersey, still lives there. And a guy that really had to battle for his major league career. He has pitched for 6 teams over 10 years. Debuted with the Orioles in '95, the Braves, the Yankees, Brewers, and Reds. Pitched in independent ball in the Mexican League in 2000. A lot of foul ground behind the plate, but no chance for Victor Martinez. The Cubs signed him in 2001, and that's where Borowski saved his career. Had 33 saves in 2003, the year the Cubs nearly made it to the World Series. Got hurt in 2004, went to Tampa Bay. Had a 21-inning scoreless streak to prove that that shoulder was back. And here he is after a great year with the Marlins last season. Part of a division championship team in Cleveland. But he walks Jorge Posada to start the 8th inning. Don't forget, coming up, Ernie Johnson, Cal Ripken, and Frank Thomas will have all the post-game reaction on our MLB presented by Captain Morgan. Remember, drink responsibly. That's coming up after Game 3 here in the Bronx. Here's Doug Minkiewicz. Another key play in this game may go unnoticed in the box score, but when Minkiewicz came on in the 6th inning, he laid down a sacrifice bunt, and he thinks about another one here, but fouls it away.
Even with a 4-run lead, Minkiewicz squaring up, trying to get that runner in the scoring position.
That's a big run. Any manager will tell you that 5th run, when you have a 4-run lead, you're still within slam range. If the other team would happen to load the bases, somebody step on one, hit it into the seats, it's a tie ball game. But that 5th run puts it out of slam range.
And again, the way the Yankees have hit in this series, everybody wants to get in and stay in an offensive groove the rest of the way tonight. Hit and run is on, and it's fouled away. 0-2 your count. Posada running there with nobody out. Point you're making, Bobby? Illustrated.
Yeah, we talked about it in Cleveland. The hit and run is not always with your best base runners on base. Sometimes the slow guys are the ones that need a little bit of a head start over there. And if a manager has confidence that the hitter's going to make contact and put the ball in play, then that's the time you want to start your slow guys. Try to stay out of that double play.
With Borowski, seldom does he have a 1-2-3 inning. He pitches with base runners all over the place. But again, that's part of the resume for a closer.
Well, for him, at least tonight, a lot of his pitches have been up in the zone. You know, the hit and run pitch to Minkiewicz he fouled off was a ball that could be handled. That last pitch right there, up in the zone. So if you're Borowski, you want to at least get the ball down, give yourself a chance to possibly get a double play ball, get a ground ball. You keep messing around up in the zone.
Into center field, but Grady Sizemore. And back to first is Jorge Posada. You know the guy who does that killer John Madden impersonation on NFL Sunday? His name is Frank Caliendo. And you may have heard he has a new show that will literally change the face of late night. See the all-new comedy Frank TV coming November 20th to TBS. Hideki Matsui had been struggling mightily. A balky right knee, And no luck at all in this series, guys. I'd say the lower portion of the Yankee order tonight really has gotten it going. Matsui, 2 hits, a walk, and scored 3 times.
And that's one of the big questions Joe Torre has had to answer about this series, because Matsui had been struggling so badly. But he said every time you think he's going to go in the tank, it looks like he's not going to ever get another hit. He comes back and wins a ball game with a big hit or hits a big home run. Good offensive night for Matsui.
And maybe the best sign of all, besides the production itself, was the way he picked up that first hit, Tony, an infield hit where he really was able to bust it down the line and showed very little discomfort.
Yeah, he kind of smelled that first infield hit and he got down the line in good form. Got a base hit to left field tonight. And you're Yankees, you got to feel good about, guys swinging a bat a lot better tonight. Damon hit the big 3-run homer, and then they walked Matsui to get to Cano, and he stepped up, hit the first pitch he saw hard in the right field for a base hit. And so if you're a Yankee fan, you got to at least offensively, they started to get things going.
And with no disrespect to Jake Westbrook, you guys touched on it as Borowski another walk. The stuff of Westbrook far different from that of Carmona and Sabathia. And if there's game 4 tomorrow, Paul Bird's another guy that's in the strike zone a lot with all the left-handed lumber for the Yankees.
Well, in Westbrook's case, as you said, no disrespect meant to him, but the difference in velocity makes all the difference in the world. When you're throwing your sinker at 87 as opposed to Carmona at 97, that's a considerable difference for an opposing hitter. And in Westbrook's defense, he pitched well. It was obvious he was starting to lose it. He started to give up the fly balls, and unfortunately, this Yankees offense got rolling against him.
So Borowski 2 on with 1 out. And here is Robinson Cano. Cano, the big hit in the game in the 6th inning, bases loaded. And 1 out. Hit a bullet to right field. The Trot Nixon failed to glove. And by the time he did catch up to it, Cano was at third base and 3 men had scored. We talked too about how momentum can swing with 1 pitch, 1 play. Hal Galima, our fine stat man, telling us that the Yankees with men on base were 1 for their first 23 at the plate. Bobby, last 10 at bats, pretty good.
6 for their last 10.
So the sleeping offensive giant appears to have been awakened here.
And you just figured sooner or later these guys were going to, put a couple of these knocks together, because they hadn't been able to do that either. They hadn't been able to, get multiple guys on in back-to-back situations.
One ball, 1 strike. Both bullpens are busy as Joe Borowski trying to shake off the rust here. Little fly ball, shallow center that Grady Sizemore should handle. He's got it. Let's take a peek at the day in the life of the home plate umpire. Ron Kulpa calling the balls and strikes tonight.
See, man, you got it. You got it. You got it. Konnichiwa. Stay here. Ha! Outside. Ha! And now time.
How about Ron Kulpa with a little Japanese konnichiwa action?
Very nice.
Not
very
bad.
Nice. Multilingual behind the dish.
Cabrera takes a strike.
The one I liked was on the pitch that was outside, and Posada was getting ready to throw to second base. He tried to give him as quick a call as he possibly could. That's something that catchers occasionally will ask an umpire if there's a base stealer on at first. I remember back in my playing days, every time Tony Gwynn was at first base, I'd ask the plate umpire, give me a quick call if you can on those 3-2 pitches or 3-1 pitches, whatever the case may be. Didn't want to waste a throw.
In the air again, and this is a typical Joe Borowski inning. Not a save situation. Puts 2 men on, then gets 3 soft, harmless flyouts to send it to the 9th in New York. That's the view from the Yankees bullpen. And with 3 more outs, we will have ourselves a series. And what does this say about the Yankees mindset? It's not a save situation, fellas, but Mariano Rivera is on for New York in the 9th.
Well, knowing that this is a big win for Joe Torre's future here in New York, Rivera probably volunteered to come into this ball game.
Rivera pitched in game 2, 2 innings in the extra innings portion at Jacobs Field, and they were 2 scoreless innings. And Andy Pettitte with a side session, perhaps. One would think if the Yankees could get the game back to Cleveland, he's going to get the ball in game 5. But getting there still in doubt. Here's Sizemore and a fastball strike. The story of the day not 4 hours ago was the future of Joe Torre. Bob thought it might have been something to distract the attention from this Yankee offense, which had been struggling so mightily. Whether that was the case or not, we won't know until after the game. But at least for a day, Tony Gwynn, the pressure's off the Yankees. They know they're in the series, assuming 3 more outs in the 9th inning, and they know with 1 more win, it all comes down to a 1-game shootout.
I think for the Yankees, though, they kind of understand. You know, Boss Man was not happy with the way they played the first 2 games of this series.
Popped up left field, playable. Damon. And 2 more outs to get for the Yankees, and if they get them with the lead, we will have game 4. Again, 7:37 our first pitch. Don't forget Ernie Johnson, Cal Ripken, and Frank Thomas in our Atlanta studios. Pre-game show brought to you by Chevrolet. Paul Bird for the Indians. Yankees have not announced who will start tomorrow's game. Any thoughts on who you think it'll be?
Since Philip Hughes pitched tonight, that pretty much eliminates him from the equation. Right. Since Andy Pettitte's throwing in the bullpen right now, you know, he wasn't going to bring him back on that short of rest. I think we're going to see Mike Mussina take a start tomorrow.
That's what I would think.
With Chin-Ming Wong, maybe the first man out of the chute if Mussina has trouble like Roger Clemens tonight. So we'll find that out probably right after our game.
You know, just to finish my point, I think, you know, Yankee hitters realized they hadn't done very much in this series offensively, and they knew they needed to put something together. And they didn't even know, you know, everybody was talking about Joe Torre. They knew that they had to do some things better offensively, and tonight they were able to do that. I mean, they didn't get off to a great start, being down 3-0 and, you know, losing Roger Clemens after 2 1/3, but you know, they responded well. Damon hit the home run. Cano got the big hit.
That fastball takes care of Cabrera. 2 outs in the 9th inning. Tonight's Chevy player of the game is Johnny Damon. His big 3-run homer in the 5th inning. The 4th consecutive hit off Jake Westbrook. It turned the game around. And in recognition of his outstanding play, Chevy donates $1,000 to Major League Baseball's youth baseball charities, Chevy and American Revolution. The Yankees had 4 runs, 9 hits in the series. They have 8 runs, 11 hits tonight alone. And Travis Hafner, the final hope. Smooth as silk, 0-2. We've got ourselves a series. The Yankees win and live to face another day. 8-4 your final in Game 3 in the Bronx. Game 4 tomorrow night. First pitch 7:37, and Mariano Rivera blows right through the top 3 Indian hitters in the 9th inning.
This is where they wanted to be. They wanted to come home, get a win, get right back in the series. Only down 2-1 now, and one more game at home. They're feeling pretty good about themselves with tonight's performance.
I think you'd agree, though, Tony, not just get a win, but do it in the fashion they did tonight. A lot of offense. That was the big question mark with this Yankees team. Where did the bats go in the first 2 games? Well, they showed up tonight.
Well, Philip Hughes, I think, with no disrespect to the heroics of Johnny Damon offensively, once the Yankees got the lead, Phil Hughes might have saved the New York Yankees season here in Game 3 of this series with the Indians. 8-4 our final. Again, let's check in with Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, 11 hits by the Yankees, 3 of them by Johnny Damon. The big one, the 3-run homer. Talk a little bit about how that took the pressure off and turned this game around and possibly the series.
Yeah, they jumped on top of us 3-0 by the 3rd. Fortunately, I got a single to get a run in the 3rd, but in that situation, I wanted to hit a pop fly and try to get the run in from 3rd. But, you know, Matsui started off the inning with a nice hit, and Robinson Cano with the double, and then Milky. So, I mean, you know, I don't think we're ready to see Roger Clemens' last steps off the mound or Joe Torre's last days as manager. So, I mean, we have a lot that we're going to be playing for, and hopefully we can come out tomorrow and win again.
You mentioned possibly Joe Torre's last game. You got the ultimatum from the owner, George Steinbrenner, win this game or you're not going to be coming back. What was it like? What was the reaction from the players?
Well, we know what we have to do. We know who's the boss around here, and we know how much we love Joe Torre, and you know, we'll do anything for him. So we went out and we battled. It didn't look good early, but we battled. We got some big hits and a great pitching performance by Philip Hughes, you know, to keep us in the game. And you know, I couldn't be more happier than with my teammates.
All right, congratulations, great game. All right, thank you. Thank you, Chip.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. Indeed, it ain't over till it's over. Yankees have life. They will force a Game 4 tomorrow night. Our final score from the Bronx: Yankees 8, Indians 4. For Tony Gwynn, Bob Brenly, Craig Sager, and the rest of our crew, Chip Carey saying goodnight from New York. TBS, your exclusive home for the National League Championship Series. Coming up next, Inside MLB, presented by Captain Morgan. Ernie Johnson, Cal Ripken, and Frank Thomas will wrap it up tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.